Good morning, guys. Hey, all right. You guys have your coffee? You guys have your flannel? Are you ready to start your day? I know I am. Dead air. Hate that. Let me fix that just a bit. Let's see. Lounge. Where is it? There it is. One of my favorite AI generated beats right here. Yes. Pleasant. Nice. Now, let's get into something unpleasant. What do we have? Let me go and unmute this person.
He is in the middle of a word
Oh, dear,
salad
what are
that
they
he
talking
can't
about
get
right
out
now?
of. And to a more important point, he has never understood. Well, let's just go through it. He's never understood American history. He's never understood the Constitution. He's never understood our founding documents. He's never understood policy.
Every day the
and he's never
indoctrination with these
apologized
people.
for not understanding policy. That's
Trump,
one of the
Trump,
reasons
Trump,
why people
Trump,
say,
Trump,
I support
Trump,
Donald
Trump,
Trump.
Trump.
Why? But, well, I don't like him as a man at all. He's a
Let's
terrible
see.
human
What do they
being.
have to think
but
about
I
this
like his
morning?
policies. His policies, really?
Yeah.
That's me.
There were very few policies. It was gesture. It was 99% gesture, 1% policy.
No, dude, it was
Absolutely.
action
So,
and
Joe,
policy and a lot
War
of
and
what
Peace
do you call
by
it?
Count
Interruption
Leo
and
Tolstoy is about war
what is that
and
when
about
you
peace.
when you stand in
And,
someone's way?
there you
peace is
go.
better than war.
Not railroading.
But
Oh,
war is more
what is that
exciting.
phrase?
And it was absolutely
You know, as I wake
absurd.
up, you know I get like more spicy
you
with this stuff,
listen
and
to
the words
that, and
come
he
much more
clearly has
easily.
no idea what he's talking about. And this
Yes, he
idea
has no
about
idea what
tariffs
he's talking about. He just
has,
did it.
which is wrong. 100%
What is that word?
of,
Adverse? No,
or
not
as Donald
adversity.
Trump would say, 110% of economists will tell you
What is
that
that
he's
word?
totally wrong about tariffs. It is not a tax on foreign companies. It is
Good morning,
a
everyone.
tax on American consumers. It's a regressive tax. It's a horrible tax.
It's
that
not a
affects,
tax. It's a tariff. You
low
know,
income
should I
and
like look
working
into
class
that? I should probably
Americans
look into that.
more than it does more affluent Americans. This was at the Economic Club of New York. I mean, how did those people who were listening to him
What is Donald
not just like
Trump
gag or laugh,
proposing
or how do they keep a straight face listening to that
regarding
ridiculous
tariffs
nonsense? I have no
and
idea.
taxes?
Yeah, I was wondering the
see.
same thing when he kept looking back at the woman who'd asked the question, and I just wanted to zoom in on her face and see what she was actually thinking. If I was the mother of young children, I wouldn't be reassured by those childcare policies. I mean, maybe
Okay.
J.D. Vance's policy, frankly, of
So,
having
we
aunts
have
and uncles and
tariffs.
grandparents,
So
as if grandparents
apparently,
didn't have other
Trump
things to do and aunts and
suggested
uncles didn't have other
implementing
things
a
to do as
universal
well,
baseline
looking
tariff
after
on
your
all
children.
US
That
imports,
seems to be the closest there
with a
is to a
specific
childcare
mention
policy.
of a
But
60%
Charlie Sykes, I
tariff
mean, one of the reasons I think,
on all
you keep hearing
US
from
imports
business
from
people who
China.
say, well, I don't
Additionally,
like
there's
Donald
been
Trump,
discussions
I
of a
don't
10 to
like his
20%
character,
across-the-board
but,
tariff on
there are the
imports from other
policy issues. Well,
nations.
clearly, on the childcare front, there aren't very many
These
policy issues.
tariffs
I'm
are
sure
aimed
many
at
of them don't
protecting
like the
American
idea of
jobs and
tariffs. They know that
industries.
this is a tax on the American
That makes
consumer.
sense.
Does it really just
Okay,
come
particularly
down to the idea
manufacturing,
that Donald Trump
by
has
making
proposed
foreign
to
goods
cut
more
corporate tax
expensive
rates to 15%?
and then less competitive compared
and
to
people in
domestically
the business
produced
community
goods.
and on Wall Street
That's
are prepared to
typically what
hold their
tariffs do,
noses at everything else
including
because of that
helping to fund the
15% corporate
economy.
tax rate.
Let's see, income tax
Well, I
on
think
Trump's
it's that.
plan.
I think it's also
Trump's plan
Donald
includes making the
Trump's,
individual and
position
estate
on
tax
regulation.
cuts
Look, I
from the
mean,
Tax
Donald
Cuts and
Trump has
Jobs
essentially
Act
told
of 2017
the business
permanent.
class, if I become
This would
president,
mean
I'm going to do
continuing
whatever you
lower
want me to
tax
do.
rates for individuals
I will give you
and
whatever
potentially
subsidies you
reducing the
want.
corporate
I
income
will
tax further
eliminate
from
regulations that you
21%
find to
to
be pesky.
20%.
I will not raise the taxes. I mean,
Okay, let's
basically,
listen.
this is very, very transactional from their point of view. I mean, this is kind of the Faustian bargain. And the question, of course,
Is it though? Is it really
whether or not
Faustian?
at some point they're sitting
How?
in that room and I'm watching them applaud that bizarre word salad, whether they it
Why
occurs
don't you
to
say
them
that
that,
bizarre word salad? Why don't you tell
this
us? Why don't
man
you
is
show us what
not
that
good
bizarre
for
word
the
salad
nation.
was?
This man is not actually good for economic stability. What we most want is a stable economy that we can predict. We do not want an international
Well, let me
trade
tell you
war.
something. Under the Trump
But,
administration,
for
I was
many
able
of
to go
them,
to
it's
Schwab
simply,
or any other
this guy's going to do what I
where's
want.
that place?
And by the way,
Was it TD
Elon
America?
Musk is out
Wherever
there
I was
basically
trading.
saying,
I haven't been there in a while
Donald
because
Trump
I know
is
my
gonna put me in
portfolio
charge
is
of
just looking
all
like
kinds of
garbage.
things involving
But,
government
under
regulation
Trump,
and everything. What could possibly
I
go
was
wrong
I
there?
was
So,
like
if
day
you think the
trading and doing all
incoherence
sorts
the
of
word
like fun
salad
investments
is
and stuff
troubling,
like that.
wait
And it
until
was
you
quite
see
nice. After
the
Trump,
kind
though?
of people
Oh
that
my
Donald
word.
Trump brings
That,
into,
you know, that whole Green New
into
Deal,
a
that
second
whole
administration.
Build Back Better,
That's
that whole
going to be quite
Bidenomics sector, that whole,
We'll be right back
what is it,
with
Inflation
much
Reduction
more
Act, knowing that it
Morning
was going to
Joe.
be pumped into green initiatives and stuff like that.
Want a chance to win $1,000?
You think that solar
for a
stock has
crazy shopping
increased at all?
spree?
No.
There's a new winner every
Do you think
day.
that hydrogen
Will it be you?
stock has increased
Download
at all?
Solitaire Grand
No.
Harvest for free and
It's
dive
like
into the
none of that
exciting
stuff has
world of
increased.
solitaire
Good
farming.
morning, guys.
Endless fun
Ooh.
features. Unique
Good morning. I
levels,
can see you guys coming in. Say something in
unbelievable
chat
challenges.
so I know who you are and
Think
like
of
what
all
you're
the
doing, what
amazing
you up to.
things you
Good
could
morning.
buy if you win. Download
Are you guys
Solitaire
getting
Grand
comfortable?
Harvest
Are you
today
getting
and get the
comfortable?
chance to win $1,000
Here, let me mute this
every
for just
day.
a moment
and
because,
it's
you know,
free.
we don't
No
need a
strings
commercial
attached.
competing,
Switch to Square
especially
and join over
with
4
some
million
crazy-ass
businesses
video
worldwide.
game.
Setup?
Yeah, we don't need to hear about that. Good morning. Under Trump, I know that the economy was better, especially for investing. So whatever Morning Joe was talking about right there, they weren't even presenting their receipts. They're just, I hate Trump, I hate Trump, I hate Trump so much. Why? Why? What was so bad? I mean, tell me, instead of you hating Trump, tell me about what you love about the Biden administration. I rarely hear any of that from you guys. So that would be nice. Let's see. Just looking over here, looking at the news. Oh, guys, what do you think about the shooter? Here, let me ask you guys a question. Now, do or do we not agree that there is no such thing as a transgender child? All right, I want to start with that. It's like, do we or do we not agree? I do not believe that there is such a thing as a transgender child. I believe that there are children who are corrupted by adults, who become confused, and then adults will label them as transgender. I do not believe that there is such a thing as a transgender child. So I have a question. Why are people calling this child a tranny? Why? If there is no such thing as a transgender child, then why are some people calling that child a tranny? Why are we feeding into the validation of a mental rot? I don't get it. So that's something I've been like thinking about, actually like kind of dreamed on it last night. Didn't find an answer. And then I'm wondering to myself, I'm like, well, who gave, they say the father gave the child the weapon. It's like, are you telling me that by using common sense and logic, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of this parent now. Why would I give my child a weapon, knowing that my child may go and shoot up a school, or anyone for that matter, commit any kind of atrocity? Why would I, as a parent, put my child into a situation where my child would commit murder? Why? What's in it for me? It's like, what? This brings no positive fruit. It brings, it would bring nothing but pain and heartache. It's like, what would be going through the mind of a parent to do that? So I've got questions. So why are people calling the kid a tranny if transgender kids don't exist? And what in the hell is up with that father? Do you guys have any thoughts in the morning? I know that might be like a little heavy, like first thing in the morning on a Saturday, but that's why I was saying, it's like, go grab your flannel, go get comfortable, grab your coffee. Let's talk about it, because what the hell? Okay, I think we're coming back to the Morning Joe in just a bit here. There we go. Of course. Yes, of course it's in the news.
Was taken into custody yesterday. He faces charges of second-degree murder, involuntary manslaughter, and cruelty to children. Police did not offer many details other than to say Gray's charges are, quote, directly connected with the actions of his son and allowing him to possess a weapon. Two law enforcement sources tell NBC News Gray bought his son an AR-15 rifle as a Christmas gift last year.
It's like,
They don't know exactly
don't
when
know
it was
when we
given to
started
him, but
doing
around the
this.
holidays. Sources say
But
it was after police
when
interviewed
did
the
we
teen
start showing
last
the
year about those
faces
online
of
threats.
minors,
The teen had denied
even
making
if
those
they're
threats,
being charged
and no arrest was
as an
made.
adult?
Gray's son is accused of shooting and
Since
killing
when
4
do
people at
we show
Appalachia
the
High School on
faces of
Wednesday.
minors
He faces 4 counts
in
of
an
felony
active
murder and is set to
court
appear in
case
court
and
later this morning.
investigation
2 senior law enforcement officials say they have
while
discovered
due
evidence of the
process is being
suspect's
served.
interest in mass shootings, particularly in the 2018 attack on a high school
have I lost
in
my
Parkland,
mind?
Florida. So, Mika,
Or
we
is
sat here
this
yesterday
new?
and wondered how a 14-year-old could get his hands on the guns. The father had said previously when the FBI visited the family about these online threats, he has hunting weapons in his home, but they are locked up and that his son does not have access to them. My gosh, Joe and Mika, after the threats were made, allegedly,
Yeah.
he bought his son, 13 or 14 years old at Christmas time, an AR-15 style rifle for Christmas last year.
Was it really an AR-15 style
It is
rifle?
beyond shocking. And Caddy K,
It's
we're
always an
starting to see
AR-15
this,
style for some
obviously.
reason.
And in this case, it seems to be what I said we're starting to see is the arresting of parents.
Yeah.
And it's about time. You have a 14-year-old child
Yes.
who is obviously
Being
has
exploited.
great mental challenges.
Yeah, who's
The
being
cops are
exploited.
calling him evil.
Oh, they're calling him
his,
evil.
His aunts or other relatives say this is a boy who basically was let down by his parents from the very beginning. And somehow the father
How?
buys this boy an AR-style weapon after he tells police he's going to keep guns out of his possession because of the threats they have already been warned of. I mean,
Okay, where are the
it's
threats? 'Cause
very
I haven't
clear.
seen them yet.
I mean, it's very clear he should go to jail.
Yeah, the timetable of this and the fact that we know the police visited the home,
Okay.
spoke to the father,
Okay, are they talking about the
spoke to
father
the
right now
boy,
going to jail?
and then the father gave the son access to this AR-15 and access presumably to other weapons in the house as well, even though he said he didn't have unsupervised access to them, gives a very clear TikTok. I mean, maybe this is the direction
clear-
America is going to
what
go
the
to
fuck is
try
that?
to cut down on the number of children that the society seems to be happy with having killed in schools because, wow, there's a certain amount of fatalism about trying to do anything else at the moment.
Caddy, what the
and
hell
you
was
hear it
that?
again and
What
again
in the
from
hell just
members
came
of
out of your
Congress
mouth? I
and
don't
members
think
of the
anyone is,
Republican
like,
Party
happy
and members
about
of the
people getting
lobby
killed.
groups that want to keep firearms in the hands of people that, well, we can't do anything. I mean, for a country that is so committed to trying to break barriers and introduce new technologies and do the impossible, when it comes to this
Are we
particular
conflating?
issue, there is a, well, we wish we could, but that's life. That's the latest line. It's just a fact of life. And so maybe this is the only way the courts are going to manage to get around an extraordinary political apathy when it comes to gun shootings.
Do you
Well,
have
it is,
actually any
a
subjects or
fear.
objects in your
It is
phrases,
fear
or is
from
it just simply
Republicans.
broken
And
little
if
phrases
anybody
that you're just
believes
stringing
that,
together? That was a bunch of
gun
nothing.
safety laws or gun control has always just been practiced are fought by the right. You know, in the 60s, it was fought by the left. These things shift back and forth. The Republicans need to shift back towards a sane,
No, we need to
rational,
shift just strictly to the Constitution.
gun policy position. And if
the
they did,
rules
Charlie
within the
Sykes,
Constitution,
they
and
wouldn't
deal
lose
with things like
a
mental
lot of
illness
Republican
or,
voters. An overwhelming
or
majority
crime. It's like,
of Republicans support
what is
universal
going on?
background checks. An overwhelming number of Republicans support red flag laws. An overwhelming number of Republicans support raising the age to 21 for people that are going in buying AR-15 style weapons. An overwhelming
Was it really an
majority
AR-15? Was
of
it really an
Americans, I'm
Armalite?
sure,
Was it really an
would
Armalite style?
support
I haven't seen the weapon yet.
enhanced background checks, more complete background checks for people, let's say, under the age of 30 that are going out to buy AR-15s. We look, and
Are they
there
really
is
going out to buy
line,
AR-15s?
A line that goes straight through so many of these shootings, one after another, a disturbed young man, usually
Okay,
a
yes,
disturbed
a child.
young white man, buys an
Okay,
AR-15,
now it has to be a white man.
and he goes and he shoots up schools, our movie theaters, our Baptist churches in Texas. I mean, you can go down the list. Sometimes it is older disturbed people who slaughter those attending a country festival, music festival in Vegas. But again, enough is enough, because I go to you because I know you grew up around hunters in Wisconsin. Yeah. I grew up around hunters in Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Northwest Florida.
It could be any weapon, though.
They want this sort of gun safety law, and they're conservative Republicans.
That's just
this is American carnage. Donald Trump is running on Make America Safe Again. Well, if you're an American parent, this is your great fear. This is the great American nightmare. And Joe, the point you were making is incredibly important, because I think that there is a real disconnect between what Republican politicians think they have to do because they're afraid of the NRA and what actual gun owners feel about all of this. Because you are absolutely right that gun safety is not a left-wing idea. It is not a partisan issue. People want, especially hunters, understand the how central it is to treat guns in a safe and responsible manner. And what this is going to take at some point is for Republicans to stand up, turn around to the gun lobby and say, you know what, I'm in favor of Second Amendment rights, but we're not going this way. We are, in fact, going to go through some of the policies that you just mentioned. We're not going to turn a blind eye to this. We're not going to regard this shooting of children at school as a fact of life, as J.D. Vance said yesterday. But I have to say that one of the incidents that really kind of broke me on all of this was
I think he's talking about
the massacre of the children at Sandy Hook. And after that, if that was not enough to sober up the country, if that was not enough to turn things around, what will it take? And I think that this is sort of this hanging nightmare. How long are we going to put up with this? What's going to happen? In this particular case, giving this deeply disturbed child an AR-15, a Christmas present. I'm sorry, I had this image in my mind of that Republican congressman was posing, in front of the Christmas tree with his whole family, and they're all holding weapons of, guns and automatic, semi-automatic weapons and everything, weapons of war. There's
were they automatic
fetishizing of the guns. At some point, that has to stop. We need to have a stigma, the celebration.
Oh, we have to have a
stigma. Remember when all the congressmen were wearing the AR-15 pins on the floor of Congress? I mean, what sick is that?
I don't know what kind of sick fuck wears their Ukraine flag over a United States flag and then gets rid of the United States flag and just wears the Ukraine flag, which represents a war going on that we shouldn't have any part to do in and stuff. It's like, you want to talk about sick fucks and shit. It's like, tell me about that shit. Tell me about, I don't know, a bunch of politicians going and putting out a bunch of kente cloth and going and doing some sort of George Floyd ritual where Nancy Pelosi can't even get her frail ass back up off the ground. Tell me what kind of sick shit that is. Fuck. It's like, tell me about these guns and being that they're fetishized and stuff, please. It's like, people hunt. And it's like, oh my gosh, they had automatic rifles in that Christmas card or whatever that was. I didn't see any automatic rifles in that thing. I saw rifles. It's like, I didn't see a semi-automatic. Now, were there semi-automatics? There might have been. Was there a fully automatic? I don't think so. I mean, that would have stood out a bit. A Christmas card with a family, and then somebody having a fully automatic weapon. I think that probably would have stood up a little. I think that would have been a little. What is the word I'm looking for? Popular. I think that would have been a very popular topic. I don't recall that. Let me check to see how the sound's coming through. That sounds good. Well, good morning. All right, I see like there are 4 people out there somewhere on YouTube, maybe DLive, maybe Telegram, like what have you. Good morning. I hope that you guys are doing okay on a Saturday as we are waking up, looking at this mainstream media on MSNBC with Morning Joe and listen to these people bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch about Trump and talk about how they want to take our rights away. Oh, and then this. Inject yourself with this shit in order to lose weight. Don't get up off your ass. Don't actually go out and do anything like the exercise. Like, are they showing them exercising? No. I'm going to inject myself with this shit, sit my black ass down on this white sofa with this bald ass cat. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay, what are we doing now? Okay, Ozempic. All right, here's your GLP-1. Okay, you need to lose some weight. Okay, here are some tomatoes. I'm going to sell you something. All right, from this Kintz. I have no idea what this is. Oh, you can get a rug to go with it, a furniture, a purse, a mirror, whatever. I'm going to sit in the bathroom over here by this vanity, put some towels down. None of this makes, what is this all about? Oh, you're a design expert. Okay, that was the kind of design we were looking for. Oh, what have we got here? Old childless cat lady. Okay, now what do we have here? Someone having a midlife crisis. Midlife crisis right there. Yes, put the neon sign right over your bathtub. That's smart. All right, yeah, my kitty litter turns colors like a mood ring. Look at my cat. My cat's like, I hate you. Okay. Yes, I want to bring the kitty litter right into the bedroom. Yes, this is where I want. That's right where I want my cat litter. I want my cat litter right where I sleep. I want to smell that. All right, what do we got here? Everyone's counting down till payday. Here is the subliminal, the whole thing. Okay, I live in a warehouse. All right, yep. Cold, concrete, floor, unfinished, everything like that. Totally conducive to a healthy lifestyle. Not at all leaching, no asbestos, nothing like that. Yes, I'm sure. Oh, look at that. You just got an advance. You just got an advance from Chime. You don't have the money yet, but we're gonna charge you a little bit so you can have a convenience to get a little money when you don't have it. And that's just gonna stack up and stack up and stack up because, why would anyone want to actually have, responsible finances these days? You can just use this app on your phone, get your money when you need it. It's not even your money. And then they'll charge you later. They'll charge you a little bit more for using it. Let's see what these guys are talking about. Oh, come on. Why can't I just simply... It's playing games with me. I'm trying to go to this thing to unmute it. And it's playing games with me.
Charging two employees of the Russian-backed media network RT in connection to what the Biden administration says are Russian state-backed efforts to manipulate U.S. public opinion ahead of this fall's election. The two are charged or accused of implementing a multi-million-dollar scheme to hire a Tennessee-based company to publish and disseminate pro-Russian content. That company then contracted U.S.-based social media influencers to share content on their platforms.
Who?
Let's bring in former director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, Chris Krebs. He's the Chief Intelligence and Public Policy Officer at the cybersecurity company SentinelOne. It's good to have you on the show.
Chris, thanks so much for being with us. I want to circle back to the last segment where we were talking about Republicans that were concerned about Donald Trump winning. Part of that Jonathan Martin story talked about Republicans who are traditional foreign policy, pro-NATO, pro-Ukraine Republicans who believe you should push back against autocrats.
Do those exist?
You should push back against communists. All the things that we Republicans used to believe.
You're not a Republican. Are you a Republican?
Really
Joe, you're not a Republican.
You started having these Republicans
you're just
coming out
whore.
And literally lifting pro-Putin propaganda and putting it on their websites or putting it on cable news. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but it is still jarring.
Are you making shit up, Joe? Joe, are you making shit up?
When we knew something was going on. I'm curious your thoughts.
Right. Yeah, look, the indictment from yesterday, the charging document itself is a fascinating read. I mean, it is this almost, Ludlum-like Tom Clancy-like story of foreign security services and foreign interests manipulating the U.S.
Is it because
political
it is a story? Is it because it is a
but
Tom
it really
Clancy
all boils
story?
down to, as I
Is this
see
based
it,
in
something
reality?
I've been talking about for years. It's disinformation, it's propaganda, and it's all about power, influence, and money. Take your pick of those three, something's in play here. And if the Russians are going to drop 10 million into a single outlet for a few $1 million or a few million views, I've got to expect they've got 100 million plus more that is distributed.
Okay, so you have no
somewhere else.
evidence.
So
you have
this is the first shoe to drop, I think.
So that's my
All right,
next
so
question.
we're not
How
presenting
much more is out
anything
there,
of
but also
substance
how
here.
far
We're
did
just
this
going strictly off
disinformation
of,
go? Who did it
oh my
get
gosh,
to?
this
Who
could
was
be
able
happening.
to see it? Do we know that?
And how
Do we know
does
that?
it impact
Okay,
the
yes, good
overall
question. Do we know that?
sort of environment out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what's so fascinating. If you go back to 2016,
And good
the
morning.
majority of the Russian
See
disinformation
this?
efforts that
Soft
were launched
flannel
by
this morning. It's getting
Prigozhin's
colder in
Internet
Minnesota.
Research
I
Agency
don't know where you
really
are right
focused
now.
on
I hope you're
online
comfortable.
social
What's
media
going on over
platforms, Twitter, Facebook,
Hey,
and
Eric
others.
Cohen. Good
What
morning.
we've seen is this evolution now where they've diversified their platforms, and now they're using podcasters, they're using YouTube, they're using fake news sites. Remember, there's a second part of this that talks about Doppelganger, which is it's a disinfo for hire organization that has these pink slime fake websites that look a lot
Pink
like
slime?
the Washington Post, CNN, and others, and they boost the fake news. AI-generated content, videos, images. It's a very, very complex scheme that DOJ, the intelligence community, are working hard to unravel. And it's not just
Do you have
them.
proof?
It's security
Do you have any
companies that have been
evidence?
tracking these guys.
Do you have something to show us?
Guys for more than a year. So
Come on, you're a news
over the
agency.
moon with
You're a
these
news
documents
outlet.
yesterday that we
Even I can pull
expose
up an
and start
article.
tearing
It's
down
like,
this
Julie,
infrastructure.
show your
And
sauce.
is it not just Russia? What about Iran's disinformation? How concerned are you about that?
Well, hey,
Oh my gosh, now we've
look,
got to
I
worry
mean,
about Iran
the
too.
last couple weeks have been, all comers. So we've got the Iranians that have been doing the hack and leak campaign with the second or even maybe third outreach to journalists over the last several days. Then you've got China and the news coming out of Albany,
China?
New York the other day with the
So we've got
WHO
Russia, we've
staff.
got Iran,
So
we've got
we know
China,
that they
all
are fully
disinformation,
engaged
all of
in
them just
attempting
out there
to
just
manipulate US
coming and
political discourse.
bullshitting and trying to
They're going
influence an
after
election.
Influential members of the elite. And, look, whether you want to call
'Cause
the
that's who's
podcasters
voting, the
YouTubers
elite.
it doesn't matter. They have reach. They have the ability to reach out and touch minds. The last thing I'll note here
What are they
is that
touching?
these are
They're
not
touching the
ad hoc.
minds.
These are not one-offs. There are very
Okay.
complex
Let me
strategies
see if I have this
behind
correct.
the
Let me see if I
scenes.
have
We are
this
seeing
correct.
the tip of
Okay.
the iceberg.
So we need to be more concerned about countries out there like Iran, China, and Russia going out there and touching the minds of the elites. That is what we need to be concerned about, not about adults going out and touching our kids. That part we need to not talk about. Can't talk about that part. We need to focus on some nefarious boogeyman out there of whom they are not even, or of which, considering that it is not a person, it is not even a manifestation, it is a vapor, of which they aren't even producing receipts.
Coming up,
Show me the
Michigan
freaking
Governor Gretchen
receipts,
Whitmer
you
is
bitches!
up. Vice President Kamala Harris
Okay, Mika, what you
campaigned in
got?
her state this week. We'll talk about where things stand in her critical battleground. That's next. On Morning
Oh my
Joe.
lord, we're going to talk about where Kamala stands in the critical battleground. Oh, I can only imagine what that's going to be like. Alright, let's see what's going on Target. Okay, here we have this child. I'm not going to make any kind of rude remarks about the child because that's a child. I will talk about the person in the back. What the fuck are you buying? What in the hell kind of commie bullshit is that? Just what? Is this what we're going for? Okay, now we're in the clothing section. Okay, here's some clothing. Backpacks. This child looks unhappy. This child does not... Something is going on here. Okay, I'm not going to talk about the kid. Alright, Target sucks. Alright, what do we have? Gray lost 25 pounds in 6 months through Roe. What did you do? Bunch of food. It's like that was her food fantasy. And then she cheated. That's what she did. She's like, I'm going to give myself an injection that costs, thousands of dollars a month. Thousands of dollars a month. I'm not going to get up off my ass. I'm not going to, actually change my diet or, improve my health. No, I'm going to go on motherfucking vacation. I'm going to go on motherfucking vacation now. Yes, I have so much disposable income. I'm going to inject myself with bullshit and then go on vacation. What do you have here? All right, some sort of family box. Okay, a bunch of toys from strangers. Oh, what in the hell? Yes, clean this. Oh, the carrot goes in the box. All right, great. It's like, we don't know what's on these. These toys are probably freaking covered in painted lead. Who knows where these toys are coming from? Check the toys you're giving your kids, guys. Lead. Y square with Matt Pond. Don't know who the hell Matt Pond is, but we're supposed to listen to him. Better data. How? Customized curation. How? What the hell is KDS? I guess if you're in the business, you would know. Grow your sales. Yes, use our app, Grow Your Sales loyalty program. Okay. Is it because you're loyal to Square? Because it's really not your property? And because what you're doing is you're just acting as a doorway for their business? You're just a whore for their business. You can start your own bookkeeping, but why would you do your own bookkeeping? Nah, pay someone else to do your bookkeeping for you. Oh my gosh. All right. Lawrence O'Donnell, crazy. What the hell's going on over here? All right, so all this skin cells and everything. Yep, that's what the inside of your air intake looks like. Right. I don't know what kind of home you'd have that kind of shit going on in your cold air return, but if that's happening to you, you might have rodents. Lots of rodents. Good morning, Bear Dylan. Hey. Granger. I like their tools. Oh, the general. Okay, so you need insurance. All right, what do we have here? First time home buyers. Oh no, are we going to prom? What the hell is going on here? Is that their chauffeur? Okay, we're at the prom. All right, that was cringe. Okay, what do we have here? Sports. Okay, everyone come and do some sports. Distract yourself from what's going on. Feel happy, all good. Watch them run around, throw the ball around. Okay, beat each other up. That's fabulous. We like that, of course. All right. And the weekend. Oh my gosh, we're back. Okay, what's he complaining? Okay, we've got some racial issues, some tensions. Oh, look, it's them. They hate them. They're going to bitch about them. Simone. Why do you have to be such a mammy, like when you're up there on the camera, but when you're off camera, you're actually intelligent, Simone? Okay, Mika, what you talking about?
Freedoms Tour in Palm Beach, Florida. According to the campaign, the bus tour will emphasize the stark contrast between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Trump on the issue of choice. The Reproductive Freedoms Tour is
oh my Lord, always about abortion.
Across the nation before November's election. Joining us now, Michigan's Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer is a co-chair of the Harris campaign.
I wasn't expecting you on a Saturday. What the hell are you doing up?
Best-selling memoir.
Shouldn't you be in your sarcophagus?
True Gretch, and it's great to have you back.
True Gretch.
Let's start with this tour on reproductive freedoms. I would call it just healthcare for women, abortion healthcare.
Abortion healthcare. These things they should definitely be normalized.
Well, it's kind of the epicenter of Trump's flip-flops, right? And I think bringing the message to the people, talking with women and healthcare providers and our families, that's how we had such a historic outcome in our 22 election here in Michigan. But it's important even for Michiganders and New Yorkers and Floridians to know what's at stake if we have a second Trump presidency. And Project
What is at stake? Just say it.
Monitoring women's pregnancies. I mean, this is
yes, monitoring women's pregnancies. You should monitor your pregnancy when you're pregnant.
Donald Trump when it comes to women's fundamental rights to make our own decisions and access health care. And so kicking it off in Florida, I think made a lot of sense, but I'm confident we're all going to get the benefit of being a part of this conversation here in Michigan as well.
I would think in states like Florida, the message would be beyond reproductive freedom, my right to abortion, but how about my right to be saved by a doctor when my life is in danger, my right to health care.
You have that right. You have that right. No one's going to take that right away from you.
There are women who are struggling right now with serious questions as to where they should go if they need help.
Serious questions or serious realities? what are they suffering from really? Are they suffering in the head? Or are they actually having an ectopic pregnancy? Have they actually had their baby die within the room and it is currently festering and causing sepsis? Be exact, be precise with what you're talking about. Right now I'm doing like a dive. I want to find out what this monitoring stuff that they're talking about. I want to see what is it exactly that they think that Trump is going to be monitoring through his administration regarding pregnancy. Let me go take a look. Okay. What does Trump mean when saying monitor pregnancies?
It is very important to us all.
And Governor, we know that there is polling suggesting that amongst women at least...
it's up to states to monitor pregnancies. Okay, let's see. Okay, so this is coming from the Hill, so I need to consider the source. And it says, former President Trump in a new interview suggested states with restrictive abortion bans might monitor women's pregnancies and should be left to decide whether to prosecute women for having the procedure. Okay, because it's a state law. It's like, this makes sense. It's like if you're living in a state which currently does not allow abortion, then you're breaking a state law if you abort the child. Now let's see, does it go into anything about ectopic pregnancy? Does it go anything into circumstances outside of convenience? Like when you're talking about serious medical issue, like during a pregnancy, I mean, we're not talking about the guy who got you pregnant isn't going to pay for your baby, therefore you want to kill the baby because there are other options, or your child is inconvenient to you, so you had fun or what have you, or maybe you didn't, or maybe you didn't have fun. But the thing is, okay, we've got a pregnancy here, we have a human life here. It's like, why are you ending this life? What are the state laws? And that's where we need to bring it down to, is state by state. None of this blanket statement that they do with abortion. We need to talk about state by state law and what is being talked about here, because they're taking a very lazy way of approaching this to construct an argument which isn't based on actual receipts. It's based on a feeling and emotion. Caitlyn Jenner. Who's Caitlyn Jenner?
Kamala Harris really lately even pushing over into the misogynistic and disgusting. And so
why do I know that name?
Are you welcome on Fox News? And if you are, would you go there to bring the message?
Bruce Jenner?
Because some call it kind of an arm of the Trump
I didn't realize that
Caitlyn
Jenner, I didn't realize that Bruce Jenner kept his last name when he became Caitlyn.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're saying?
I will go anywhere and talk to anyone on any subject, frankly, especially...
Yeah, I'm sure you'll go anywhere, anyone, talk about any subject, but will it be true?
At the end of the day,
or are you going to be blowing shit out of your face?
They work hard. The average person in this country is a hardworking person who's trying to do right by their families. They expect others to work harder
we'd
than
hope.
they do, and to be even better than they are, if that's possible. And I think it's really important to ask yourself, who is going to make your life better? We know that Kamala Harris has plans, is focused on the people, has lived an average, normal life.
Who's going to make my life better? Are you trying to say that it's either Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Neither. Neither. I make my life better. God makes my life better. My blessings don't come from Kamala Harris. My blessings don't come from Donald Trump. It's like my blessings come from way out there, way out in the very interesting to know, by the way. Comes from within and without. I don't know where God is. God is everywhere, omniscient and omnipresent, all-knowing and everywhere all at once, through time, all the way back and all the way to the eternity going forward. It's like, but that's the influence in my life. Oh, these people so grounded in their flesh, and then looking like that, while grounded in their flesh, looking like some sort of cheap French whore.
And former small business owner Jared Polis.
Yes. Okay, back to commercials, I guess. All right. Welcome to No Prisoners Productions, being cast on the No Prisoners podcast channel on Pilled. Guys, I can see that some of you are out there. There are like 5 people out there. You might be on X, you might be on D Live, you might be on wherever you are. I don't know. But welcome. Good morning. Come on over to Pilled, pilled.net. What are you doing on those other subpower platforms? We have stickers. I wish I could. Here, someone throw up a sticker so I can show it. All right, hold on. Let's see. If I share this thing right here, if I go over here and go over here and then share that, look at this. I know that that's on portrait right now. Here, let me do a sticker. We have freaking stickers. You see these? They're even animated. Why would you be on X right now? Why would you be on YouTube right now? Why would you be on DLive right now? What does DLive have stickers? I think DLive might have stickers. But do you have this sticker? Do you have a sticker of Kermit the Frog getting hit with cold water and going rigid on a Saturday morning? Do you have that? I don't think you do. So why don't you come on over to Pilled.net? Pilled.net, free speech platform. We can talk about everything over here. Well, not everything. The pedophiles, millstones upon them. Yeah, we don't take too kindly to the pedophiles. That's for damn sure. Or I can't think of like many shows. See, look at that. Ben Q lurking over there, putting up Rodney Dangerfield right there, having some cafe. That's right. Oh, so this is what it's going to be again. Oh, winter is coming. Autumn is upon us. Winter is coming. The flannel is going to be nice. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're going to be doing the pre-show show for No Prisoners podcast. That means that's mainly going to be me bumping my gums, talking about bullshit. While 45-1 is setting up the show, I will have already collected the news. The evening before, I'll be doing a stream where I'm just like putting the news together. If 45 jumps in, he jumps in. It'll be like me talking to you guys, looking at shit, and pulling together the next day's show. I will be bringing in AI agents at some time because I like to mess with those things. We'll get into some art, perhaps. Right now, we're looking at the sad state of affairs on mainstream media and what people out there in the old folks' home are looking at. They're waking up to this right now on death's door. They are waiting to die. And this is how they're ending their life. They're ending their life with Mika and Joe in the morning with Morning Joe. How sad. This is their hell. All right. Pay your team in minutes whenever you want. You don't have a bank account. Let us have it. Here, starting at $46 a month with 3 flexible payments. What the hell do you need to have flexible payments at $46 a month? How bad is the economy? Okay, so you've got your benefits right there. Okay, so you can hire. This is your payroll software. Pay us to do your payroll. You don't know how to do it. You're stupid. You never took that class. You don't know how to do your own payroll. So give it to a third-party contractor to do your payroll for you. You don't know what's going on with security. You don't know who has access to your data. You don't know if they're even investing in a 401k for you properly. You don't know. You just get paperwork from them. You just sign it off blindly because you don't have the education. You think you're a business owner. You think you're an entrepreneur, but you're really not. You're just kind of faking it. Outsourcing all your bullshit to someone else. That's not how business, is that how business is done now? Is there no more hands-on? Oh, I've got questions. I mean, I have a background in accounting and finance. It's like, these things are supposed to be the basics. You should not need someone else to do your bookkeeping for you. Okay, I don't want to come off sounding pompous, but I'm just saying.
A good idea. I have to call it a good
Okay, what do we have?
And a $50,000 tax cut for small, not tax cut, but a tax credit for startups of small businesses, coupled with less red tape. I gotta say, that is a good idea, regardless of our other tax ideas.
All right, Fox Business host.
Give the details on that plan.
Yesterday for Kamala Harris's small business tax credit plan. Under her proposal, tax deductions would dramatically increase from $5,000 to $50,000 for small businesses' startup expenses. And joining us now, we have Colorado's Democratic Governor, Jared Polis. He's also chair of the National Government
Colorado's Democratic Governor? You mean the one which is currently being invaded by Venezuelans?
Started up some businesses.
Good morning, misinformation.
What do you think of the Harris plan?
Oh, he loves
It's
it.
really exciting. As a former entrepreneur,
Of course he does.
Before I got into public service, I started several companies. It's really a big deal to see a potential president talk about entrepreneurship and risk taking in a positive way, and not just aspirationally 25 million new businesses, what an exciting goal for our country, but to say very tangibly, instead of a $5,000 starter
Dude,
which who can start a
you're
business for
abdicating your
$5,000,
responsibilities to Kamala
$50,000
Harris. I can hear your
startup production, making
fucking,
it easier
oh my
to
gosh,
get
you're
into
such a
federal
beta.
contracting, cutting red tape, easier to start a business. This is a real
Increase the
exciting
corporate
agenda.
tax
I think
rate from
the
21% to
entrepreneurs,
28%.
dreamers,
You know,
and
because why
American
lower the
community
corporate
partners.
tax rate? Why draw businesses into your area to actually lift your commerce and your economy? No, tax them. Scare them off. Get them the fuck out of here. Look at our 28%, tax that we're going to tax you. You want to do business with us? Fuck no, I'm going over to a state that only has a 20%. I'm moving. I'm taking our business elsewhere. Have fun with your welfare state. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's a
gosh.
Patriot Boot Camp nonprofit working with veterans to help give them the skills they need to be entrepreneurs. Techstars, which I co-founded.
A lot of us already
across a
have
number
the
of
skills.
cities,
Thank you very, very much
more
for
than a
the,
decade ago.
the programs
Also
though in the
a
Veterans
hands-on
Administration.
academy
I know they do
for 3
help people
months
out.
on-site
However, a lot of
developing
us already
skills to
have
raise the capital
skills.
to grow your
We got them on our
company.
own. We don't need a
Again,
freaking
tomorrow's
social program to
small
learn
garage-
how to do
today's
things.
small garage startup can be tomorrow's 1,000-person company. That's really what Kamala Harris gets, and making
Yeah,
it
that's kind
easier
of how
to take
businesses
risks to
work. They start
companies,
small and grow.
saving people
Thank you
money
very
on
much,
healthcare,
Captain
making
Obvious.
housing more affordable, reducing the cost of starting a new business, enlarging the tax deduction for startups. These are all the types of things that can help new businesses get off the ground. And
Oh, so now we're going to move it down to $1 million earners.
Techstars and others.
Oh, so now we're going to get a 25% capital gains, unrealized capital gains on people making about $1 million while they continue to increase the wages, which are bringing people closer and closer to having equity at that mark. Gee, that's amazing. With the cost of homes increasing, that is included in your equity profile. And then you have your income. And then you have what are the credits? All these government credits, they are added in. So the more credits that you're getting from the government count as motherfucking income, which bring people closer and closer to that $1 million mark where they can then go and do the taxation and take it all back because the government doesn't give you shit for free.
Some of them are effectively paying close to 0% tax because of their clever overseas structures. We need to.
It's because they invest. When you take your money and you invest it, it is a tax shelter. They're trying to remove that. Of course, rich people are going to do that. That's how they fucking got rich, because they were smart and they protected their assets through investments and shelters of taxation.
Yuval Noah Harari on his new book Nexus
It's
and the
basic
outsized impact
business.
artificial intelligence could have on the 2024 election. Stay with us.
Oh, Yuval Harari. I don't know if you guys were there at No Christmas Podcast yesterday for Fun Friend Friday. We did a bit on Yuval Harari. Oh, that guy's crazy. Okay, what's this child going to do? All right, look at this shit, Mom, Dad. Buy me this. Don't make me this. It's not like it won't be cheaper to go and get some, I don't know, maybe some plain ass t-shirts, and maybe, I don't know, people have like printers and shit. It's not like you can't print out your own freaking iron-ons or like embroidered, like whatever. And we've got textured paint. Sit down with your kid, maybe like, I don't know, paint a freaking t-shirt like we did back in the old days, make your own damn designs. It's like it was personal. And then when you looked at it later, as you got older and you like looked at that clothing, you're like, I remember when my mama and I sat down and made that. And you have that special feeling. Now, go to Target, let Ying Li out there in China go and press your, I don't know, imaged garment, whatever bullshit means nothing to you. Mama comes home, brings it to you, and you're like, eh. It's like, that's what the rest of life is going to be like for some of these people. Everything is going to be created for them by someone else. Nothing with any kind of attachment or anything, like no memories. Just constant here, where I don't have a pad because, I don't use them all that often. Imagine I have a pad. Wait, what can I use as a pad? You know what? I'll use this home phone as a pad. This is people's lives. La 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 la. I'm on this thing. It's like the world has gone on over here, but the world's in here for me now. And now Mama's going to come and give me some clothing that means nothing. Oh, okay. Ugh. It's like, and then the toys too. Is anything handcrafted anymore? Does anyone even write letters? Is the mail used for anything other than bills these days? Am I one of the few people who actually sends postcards on dates other than Christmas? I mean, come on. Tell me that the post is still used for things more than just receiving bills and junk mail and crap. Oh, what's going on here? Brokeback Mountain. Of course, because it's Biktarvy, they have AIDS. She has AIDS. He had. Oh, she. Oh, that's a chick. That's a chick pretending to be a dude. Okay, now we're back to this. All right, back to the power tools. All right, we're down here in the boiler room. Yep, we've got our Granger shit going on. Yep. It's like, I think that was a thermal meter. Yep, we're checking some thermals. Oh, no. Are we checking for current? I have no idea. I think he was checking for thermals. That's his job. He walks around with his meter and he just looks at things. Yep, that was the commercial for Granger. Great. Didn't show us what a damn one of the products do. Okay, are you pinching and binding? Do you have a bunch of like back flappy things going on? Do you want a bra that doesn't pinch and bind? Here you go. Look at that. Don't you hate that when that underwire just like mysteriously comes out and just stabs the shit out of you? All right. Look at my nails. Yes, properly manicured, everything like that. Yes. Yes, we need this. This is what we need. We need people like bouncing up and down. Yes, and then give us the lesbian doing the voguing shing because, everyone can relate to that. All right, let me guess. You're going to take Ozempic. Oh, you're on Chime. Oh, you have no money, so you want a cash advance. All right, I see. Okay. Yes. I need $500 right now. I don't have it. I'll pay you back. No interest, my ass. You are paying a service charge to use Chime. Get paid when you say, how about this? How about take care of your budget? How about, don't overspend? Okay, are we back?
Extend its election-related restrictions to most of its artificial intelligence products.
Misinformation, that's just it. No backpack.
Day, its AI
and if you have that backpack, you want something comfortable to roll that into.
Topics, including questions about candidates, voting processes, and election results. Our next guest writes about the future of democracy in the age of artificial intelligence. New York Times bestselling author Yuval Noah Harari joins us now with his new book titled Nexus, A Brief History of Information Networks from the Stone Age to AI. Yuval, it's great to have you with us.
Oh, this is crazy. Okay, take a listen to this. Take a listen to this. I'll be right back.
But yeah, I know you'll be back tomorrow, so maybe we can get through it in our 2 days. But let's today focus on the impact of AI on our politics, which we're seeing already and have seen now in the last couple of election cycles. As you study it and you look at it, what is the impact, the potential impact AI could have on the way the country votes this fall?
Well, I think what should be clear to everybody is that we have the most sophisticated information technology in history, and people are losing the ability to talk with each other. Something is obviously wrong. And there are many explanations that are unique to the US about what's happening in the American society, American politics. But you see exactly the same thing in my home country, in Israel. You see exactly the same thing in Brazil, in France, in the Philippines, all over the world. The democratic conversation is falling apart, and democracy is a conversation. And the fault is with technology, because democracy is really built on top of information technology. For most of human history, large-scale democracy was impossible because large-scale real-time conversation was impossible. The only examples we have of ancient democracies are city-states like Athens or even smaller tribes. You don't have any example of a large country, millions of people over thousands of kilometers, who function democratically before the rise of modern information technology, newspapers, then radio, then television. So information technology is not something you have on the side of democracy. It's the infrastructure, it's the basis. And any major upheaval in information technology is bound to create a political earthquake, which is what we are experiencing.
And we have this sort of world, don't we, of choose your own adventure, which is if you can hear the story you want to hear based on your political ideology or your fealty to a certain political candidate, but how does AI play into that? We talk so much about our silos, that the version of truth and the facts that we present here on our show every day can be 180 degrees from some of the lies you might hear other places. How does AI factor into that?
It amplifies it because it can now start to create content by itself. Previously, we saw that algorithms battle for human attention by presenting us with certain content, but they couldn't create the content by themselves. All the content was created by human beings. Now, AI is the first technology in history that can actually make decisions by itself and create new ideas by itself. It can create texts and images and videos and so forth. And we are just seeing the beginning of this new wave. And the other thing that AI is capable of doing, which no previous technology could, was create intimate relationships with human beings, hold conversations with them.
That's it for us this Saturday. We're back tomorrow
That's
morning
what we
at
want.
6 a.m. Eastern for...
Shh, quiet, Mika. Thank you for the cookie. Thank you for the cookie misinformation. Thank you so much. Intimate relationships with your AI? Crazy. They cut him off. They cut him off because you know he was about to get freaky. You know damn well Haval Harari was about to get freaky as fuck. Okay, what's going on over here?
September 7th, I'm Alicia Menendez with Simone Sanders.
Oh, Simone, you're here. Yes, my plantation mammy has arrived. I've been waiting. Oh my gosh.
2024. We're going to talk to the
Yes.
party chairs of Georgia and North Carolina about the state of the race in those crucial swing states. Plus, Donald Trump gets his wish.
While we're
Judge
coming
moves
into
his
this segment,
sentencing in New York
let me show you
after the
guys what I'm
election.
making today.
Andrew Weissman tells us what that means for holding the ex-president accountable. And Senator Amy Klobuchar grabs a seat at our table to talk about crafting a winning message on the economy and on abortion. So grab your coffee, settle in. Welcome to the weekend.
Okay. So, you guys know I love to cook. You guys know I love to cook.
59 days away from
Look what I've done to this
and 3 days
brisket.
away from the
Now it's
first
under
presidential
saran
debate
wrap, and I
between
understand
Vice
that.
President Harris
Huh.
and Donald Trump.
Hold on, shut up.
Tuesday's debate will
Simone.
also be the first.
Shush. Look at this brisket. Do you know what I have marinated this brisket in? I will come back and I will tell you. I'm going to go put this back on the counter. I'm letting it come up to room temperature because I've got to do something special with it later. So I'll be right back here. Listen to Simone bumping her gums while I come back.
Performed for the TV cameras at Trump Tower in New York after appealing a court decision that found him liable for sexual abuse. And while we're just under 2 months to Election Day, Americans will start casting their ballots very soon. Early voting kicks off in battleground states like Pennsylvania on September 17th. That's less than a week after the first debate. Joining us now is MSNBC political analyst Basil Schmeichel. He is a professor of practice at the School of Professional Studies at Columbia University.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We're getting a little bit into the crunch time now. Y'all feeling the groove? We got it up here.
Okay, I kind of want to listen to them. I'll get into like what I did with the brisket later, but I kind of want to listen.
I'm ready for Tuesday.
Yeah.
How do you think this narrative that Donald Trump is putting out there, like, oh, who's Kamala? We don't know Kamala. She's sitting in the basement. We don't know.
We really don't, though. I mean, we know something of her, but you know what? This is the thing about like what we don't know about Kamala. We know her history. What they're trying to do is they're trying to erase her history and trying to replace it with this like false narrative. That's where this is going. I can almost guarantee it.
More, it's Kamala. It's a little friendlier too, but it's hard to be friendly with somebody that wants to destroy our country. She's right now practicing. Do you know that? She's in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And she's practicing for the debate. She's locked herself in a room. She's got a lot to learn.
Yes.
Perhaps he should lock himself.
Why did they cut him off?
And learn a few things. How do you see his approach to Kamala? And
The vice president.
The vice president,
actual vice president.
Going into this this campaign.
Well, they've become more and more ad hominem, right? They're much more personal. But when you combine,
I love Simone.
The way he's been speaking.
I hate that she's degrading herself, but as a person, you know, like off camera and stuff like that,
More
she's interesting.
than I think we've ever heard him.
Yeah.
But
So
she's a whore at her
it
job. She's a
sounds
freaking lion whore.
It clearly sounds like he and his team know that they're behind an 8 ball, that they're kind of losing the narrative.
What is the narrative?
I think
Who's really losing the narrative here? Do you guys even have a proper narrative?
Support. The best way to win is to diminish her.
But that's an important point.
And the way that they're doing it is by trying to tap into a sense that this woman of color is not qualified for the role. Isn't smart, doesn't do her homework.
Why does she have to be a woman of color? Why can't she just be
We've heard
Kamala
that
Harris?
times before, right? The whole, if you're a person of color, a very common attack by your opponent, if that person is not a person of color, is that you're not qualified.
Is that other dude over there? Is that the Indian?
And you could see him doubling down on that language every single time that he talks about her, not even using her name correctly, right? I mean, that's textbook for him, but it's also textbook in ways that people of color are diminished. I'm not even going to say your name. I'm not even going to give you that kind of dignity, right? So we'll see that more often.
That's normal? Is that normal?
His attacks were going to get pretty bad, and they are. But what I like is that they're not. I don't think they're working. They're not sticking.
Okay, are we going to talk about policy? Are we going to talk about policy?
About the sort of juice of the
Or are we going to talk about like boo-hoo, someone mispronounced my name?
Everybody feels deputized to be able to push back, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, and just real quick on it, because you made a really important point I don't want people to skip by, and I think it's important.
Oh, we don't even have an Indian on the panel. So we have 3 darker individuals. None of them are of Hindi descent or anything like that. No lineage going back to India. He might be. Is he Hindi? I don't think he's Hindi.
She's not going to do it.
So we're not even representing Kamala properly. It's like what? Caucasian and 3 Negroes? It's like, what the hell? Where is the Hindi?
And maybe
Girl.
we'll see that on the debate stage.
Yes.
I think that particularly, well, if he says the wrong name, but I think it's an opportunity.
Look at those nails. Shit, you know that's nasty.
She's in debate prep. And she's going to leave debate prep. I think it's really smart what they're doing. That the vice president said, nope, I don't want to be at the Naval Observatory. I want to be in Pittsburgh because that puts me in a battleground state. That puts me down the street from Philly, and it allows us to get earned media. And frankly, they have to go out. They got to get lunch somewhere. That's an off the record stop that will
Cookies and coffee. I just absorbed and received what you said, misinformation.
That there's Donald Trump's
cookies
strategy
and coffee.
there's his campaign strategy, and I feel like that the two are not meshed because I feel like his campaign would love for him to talk about the issues. That's why they sent him to the economic club.
Can we talk about the issues?
They set up this whole thing for him to talk smart about the economy. Oh my gosh, it was gibberish. No spin.
Can we have some examples of the gibberish you're talking
We're
about?
gonna pay for it with tariffs, and I was like, now I took a little economics in school, but this is not computing. Sir.
Apparently, okay, so you took a little economics, so you don't understand what the hell he's talking about. He's talking about tariffs.
That I don't think his campaign.
So why the hell are you bumping your gums if you don't know what you're talking about?
Over here in the gutter than he is over here in the issue.
No, that's right. I mean, if we were dealing with a typical candidate who has
Yes, use your hands a lot.
and actually
Yes.
reads policy and is actually
Are you going to read us some policy?
trying to grow his support and his base and go beyond that, you would see him actually answering questions. You would see him at least attempt to describe some policy position that he would have.
He's been describing his policies. In fact, he has a whole website about it. Where's Kamala's?
And in fact, so does his vice presidential candidate.
Let's see if there's a Kamala Harris website. Let's see if that thing's been updated.
And look, let's be clear about this.
You know what? I'm going to go
Donald
over
Trump
here.
will ever win. His campaign
Take this
on
off
the folks
portrait.
that,
Go over to my
are
landscape.
2025, they're going to be the ones
Go and see if
governing,
there's a Kamala Harris website.
right? And so, in some ways, he really is just a vehicle for all of the other stuff that that his
Official Harris
campaign
2024
and his
website.
supporters want to get
But a
through.
vehicle that is aware, because I do think that allowing Donald Trump to be some passive figure, like at the end of the day, he has to sign the thing.
Oh, he does.
At the end of the day, he has to say yes. At the end of the day, he's the one that gets on the stage and attacks E. Jean Carroll and everybody else.
It's
Does that have anything to do with policy?
Is normalizing where it's going back to looking like a little bit more map-wise of what a campaign would have ordinarily looked like. So there was this.
Okay, let's see what a campaign should look like. Okay, let's see. Replace screen sharing
Trump's campaign is placing less emphasis on New
with
Hampshire, Minnesota, and Virginia. Instead,
Kamala
it's pouring resources
Harris.
into the blue wall states,
All right,
Pennsylvania,
go and
Michigan,
pull
and
that
Wisconsin,
in.
that are crucial to both.
All right, so here we have Kamala Harris, the website. Okay, Kamala Harris for president. KamalaHarris.com. Okay, come on. You're going to load? All right, let's see. Come on. Get up there. Come on, girl. You can make it. Come on, Kamala. Get up off your back and load your site. Your site's on some sort of freaking gerbil wheel server. Urgent, chip in before the day. Right off the bat. Right off the bat. Okay, so right off the bat, it's like, give me money. Give me money. All right, continue to KamalaHarris.com. All right, right here. Join the campaign. Okay, let's see. Here we have a bunch of like donation tabs up here. Meet Kamala Harris. All right, so what do we have here? Devoted her career to fighting for the people. As the daughter of parents who brought her civil rights marches in a stroller, she was inspired to tackle injustice from an early age. She took that mission to county courtrooms, the California Attorney General's office, the United States Senate, and the White House. Nothing about policy so far. She is now running for president of the United States to continue protecting our freedoms, delivering justice, and expanding opportunities so that every American cannot just get by, but get ahead. All right, so how's that going to happen? As vice president, she's been trusted partner to President Joe Biden in their work to take on the powerful and make change for the people. I do not know what that is. From standing up against extremists. Oh, which extremists would those be? The American people who are for the Constitution, who are trying to protect the Second Amendment and the First Amendment? You mean those people? Are those the extremists? To defending reproductive freedom, to taking on Big Pharma to bring down prescription drug costs and cap the price of insulin at $35 a month for us. These are her things. This is what she's doing. She's like, abortion, you fat, take a shot. It's like, but you don't have to pay too much for it because we've government subsidized it for you. We have subsidized it for you, which means that you're paying for it in your taxes. We're increasing your taxes while increasing your wages, which brings more buying power to people who didn't have it before, which is fine, except you only have so much in your economy when it comes to a broken infrastructure where you're having supply chain issues, where there isn't much product left on the shelves, which means that the supply is lower. And then you give people wage increases so they can have more demand. So then the prices of the products and services increase along with that. So you really don't, it's just a losing sum on that. All right, let's see. The Biden-Harris administration has achieved a historic record of accomplishment. Historic, yeah, it has been. Holy shit, what a shit show this has been. Very historic, I must say. All right, including bringing our economy back from the brink of disaster to create nearly 16 million new jobs, which has been debunked. Investing over $1 trillion in infrastructure projects like repairing roads and bridges. Yes. And why are those bridges and roads, like, what's going on with them? Because we had Barack Obama for what, 8 years prior? It's like, what the hell? It's like from the brink of disaster. It's like Donald Trump was only in office for 4 years and he was met with a lot of friction and what is that called when you stand in someone's way? Oh gosh, I mean, I don't want to use simple words like just having his initiatives blocked, but that's what obstacles, barricades. They were constantly throwing barricades in front of Donald Trump and the people who wanted to actually build the infrastructure properly because it wasn't inclusive enough or like what have you. One moment, please. So let's see. All right, so bring it back from the brink of disaster to create nearly 16 million new jobs, investing over $1 trillion in infrastructure projects like repairing roads and bridges, removing every lead pipe, and they haven't removed every lead pipe in America, improving public transit. Oh, public transit's so lovely. Holy shit. Have you seen what's been going on with public transit? Holy shit. I think I'd rather be blindfolded and shot through a trebuchet than take freaking public transit these days. And I used to love taking public transit. All right. And expanding access to high-speed internet. Oh, okay. Well, how's that working out? Because I'm still waiting for my fiber. All right. Strengthening the Affordable Care Act. Oh, the Affordable Care Act. Oh, really? Have they really strengthened it? Is that why people are like unable these days to really pass on generational wealth? And lowering health insurance premiums to save millions of Americans an average of $800 a year. Yes, they go and they lower the health insurance premium while increasing the social programs, which increase the taxes. So sure, you can artificially deflate the cost, the premiums on insurance, by subsidizing it with government programs, but that money has to come from somewhere because governments do not generate revenue. That comes off the backs of the taxpayer. All right, let's see. Expanding healthcare for veterans, my ass. As an honorably discharged Army veteran, I can tell you, the VA has not gotten better under Biden and Kamala. I guarantee it. All right, and it's gotten a lot better for the illegals who are using, our veteran services for some freaking reason. And if you want to go and have a sex change, that's like, A-OK and priority top number one for some reason. But, the rest of the veterans is like, they're just like, waiting list, screw you. All right, expanding healthcare for veterans exposed to toxins. Oh, yes, exposed to toxins. Yes, misinformation. Who wrote this fiction exactly? Someone, I don't know. We'll find out, maybe. That was the burn pits. And that was like, what? Oh, my son Bo was having cancer because he got exposed to toxins or anything like that. It's like, well, those toxins have been going on for like a while. And if I recall correctly, even Trump had something about that. So that's not anything new. Now, did Barack Obama have anything about that? I'm trying to remember because I don't recall under Barack Obama's administration during those 8 years, I don't recall ever getting a letter from the VA saying, have you been exposed to toxins? Now, I do remember getting something about that under Trump. And then I do remember getting something like that under Biden. But I remember it under Trump first. So this isn't a new program with that whole burning and everything like that. It was just called something else. Enacting the first meaningful gun safety reform in decades. Oh, yeah. And bringing violent crimes down to a near 50. And that's a lie. Bringing violent crime down to a near 50-year low. That is a lie. That is a bald-faced lie. Passing the largest ever investment in tackling the climate crisis. Yeah, an investment. That doesn't mean that you've seen residuals. That doesn't mean that you've seen an actual, what is it called when you have like your, is it called a COI, a POI, ROI, return on investment. Have we seen a return on that investment? Have we seen ourselves either break even or come out in the positive from that? I am saying no, considering that we have so many of these green companies, these solar companies going bankrupt, and these green initiatives falling, and then not to mention, where are we sourcing these materials from? Hello, slave labor in the Congo. Hello, slave labor, in various parts of the world. It's like, let's look into that because we're using child labor to source a lot of that stuff. Is it most of it? Probably not most of it. But come on now, we're using child slave labor. Green New Deal? Really? Kamala Harris? Are we going to talk about that? Anyway. And appointing the black woman, the first black woman. Oh, and she's completely black now. She's not even black and Asian or anything like that. She's not even black and Hindi. No, she's just 100% black now. All right. Oh, and I got to get back to Simone Sanders. All right. But I was looking at Kamala Harris's page because I want to see what her policies are. All right. So far, nothing really of substance. Vice President Harris has proudly represented the United States as a global stage in meetings with over 150 world leaders, and they all laughed at her, and bolstered vital alliances against tyranny abroad. Has she, though? Has she, though? Is that why we have so many wars? All right. And she is just as committed to stopping would-be authoritarians and dictators at home. And then she goes and selects Tim Walz as her running mate, who is 100% an authoritarian commie. Really? Okay, tell me more. She is leading the charge to protect fundamental freedoms. Bullshit. Including the right to the abortion and right to vote. Okay, so charge to protect fundamental freedoms. Fundamental freedoms, including the right to abortion and the right to vote. Well, if you're a legal citizen and of voting age, you already have that right. And as far as like, if you're living in a state right now where abortion is legal, and even if it's not legal, if they have certain avenues for you to terminate your pregnancy, if you are in peril, it's like, how are you a part of that, Kamala? In fact, aren't you fighting against that? Aren't you fighting to reinstitutionalize abortion back to a federal level? Seems like a conflict of interest on that one. Let's see. Freedom Flyer. Sounds familiar. Didn't this happen during the Obama administration? Solar and energy companies going belly up? Yes. Solyndra, amongst others. Thank you very much and good morning. All right. Oh my gosh, it goes on. But you know what? I want to see, does she have policy? All right. In the U.S. Senate, she led on legislation to raise wages, not to increase them or anything like that. Okay, so to raise wages. Okay, great. And bring down costs for American families. How'd she do that? On housing, healthcare, childcare, college, and more. And how did they do it? Government subsidies, welfare programs. Yes, that's how we bring down those costs. We bring in more taxation. Increase your wages and increase your taxes so we can pay for these fucked up government programs. Yes, that's how we're going to do it. It's like we are forcing companies to pay you more, which is affecting their bottom line, which means that they cannot grow their companies to the levels that would be reaching and meeting the population's needs for employment with high quality jobs, which actually pay a living wage. No, what does Kamala Harris do? She turns a blind eye that so many people need to have more than one job in order to make ends meet. And is it because of the wages? Partially. Is it because that this government goes and doesn't teach people how to manage their funds properly? Partially. Is it all the easy access to the drugs that mess people up in the mind? So they just, they're constantly having these freaking mood swings. And then you've got commercials coming out which use your emotions. It's like, and then the idea that you have to buy now. It's like, how many commercials do we see? It's like, act quickly. This deal won't last long. Blah, blah, blah. It's all this emotional bullshit marketing. Anyway, back to Kamala and her crazy, oh, look at us bringing, increasing wages and bringing the cost down. Well, not talking about those social programs that are costing you in taxes, but let's see. Childcare, college, and more. Serving on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, Select Committee on Intelligence, that is an oxymoron, and Committee on Budget. She fought for critical causes like criminal justice reform, climate action, infrastructure investments, and election security. She also grilled Donald Trump's nominees, including Justice Brett Kavanaugh, and cabinet officials, including then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, to get answers for the American people. Well, do you have citation on that one? Because I'm kind of curious. I'd like to see. Now, I guess I can go do my own digging, but this is supposed to be your campaign page. This is supposed to be your campaign page. Where is the substance of information? I'm curious because I'm going to go over to Trump's campaign page in just a bit. Hold on. All right. As California's Attorney General, she went up against the big banks and won, securing $20 billion for middle-class homeowners who were facing foreclosure during the Great Recession. The Great Recession? Yes, during the Great Recession. That's when I purchased a home. It's like, I was like, ooh, the market is salty. I like it. It's like homes were inexpensive and the bubble had burst. Great time for investors to go out and start picking those up. And I was one of them. I went and snatched a house. It was the time to do it. All right. She went up against predatory for-profit colleges and won, delivering $1.1 billion settlement for students and veterans who got scammed. Fabulous. I'm sure she wasn't the only attorney on that job, though. I am pretty darn sure that other people were doing the heavy lifting on that case. All right. Let's see. She went up against discrimination and won, leading the team that helped bring down California Proposition 8. I think that was something to do with gays. JDI, what is that? JD 1971, good morning. All right, let's see. California's Proposition 8. What was Proposition 8? Let me just go take a peek quickly. California Proposition 8. I don't even know what the hell that was, but I think it was something to do with someone gay. Proposition 8. Let's see what that was. California Proposition 8 was a statewide ballot initiative in California approved by voters on November 4th, 2008. It added a new section of the California Constitution defining marriage as... Okay, there it goes. All right, so she was all crazy. She's like, oh my gosh, the gays have to get married in California. All right, so how'd that work out? All right, what is this? She went up, okay, against the discrimination one, that was that. And fighting for marriage equality nationwide. Fabulous. But not so much, though, because we saw how that slope quickly became slippery. All right, she prosecuted transnational gangs that exploited women and children and trafficked in guns. Yet she's very quiet about it now, along with drugs and human beings, and fought to require for-profit insurers in cover contraception and other reproductive health services. I wonder why she didn't keep the same energy. I wonder why she's not keeping the same energy today. All right, beginning her career in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office. My word, we're not going to talk about anything about policy, are we? We're not going to get anything about policy. We're not going to get anything. We do not know her. Okay, so this is like, get to know Kamala. It's like, okay, tell me about the policies that she's going to be putting into action after she becomes president, if she becomes president. They won't. And then what's this? What's this? What did I just hit? Take action. When we fight, we win. Okay, so there it is right there. Okay, so that's not about policy. And then the store. What do you get? Yes, she can. Okay. Show your support, whatever. This is Kamala Harris's campaign page. Meet Tim Walz. What's going on here? Together, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are moving our country forward and fighting for working families. Are we going to talk about anything in his policy? Let's see. As governor, Walz has done more to help the middle-class families get ahead than any other bullshit. More to help middle class get ahead than any other statewide leader in recent memory. In recent memory, like a goldfish's memory. Because I'll tell you what, Tim Walz is a terrible, terrible governor for Minnesota. He lowered the cost of insulin. Oh, he lowered the cost of insulin now to $35 a month for many Minnesotans. He eliminated junk fees. Like everyone was using freaking Ticketmaster. Like that's what it was. It was hotel fees, Ticketmaster, and stuff like that. Whoop-de-fucking-do. What is that? I mean, you'd have to be a heavy user of hotels and Ticketmaster and save you a couple $100 a year. It's like big fucking accomplishment. Who fucking cares? He eliminated junk fees and he signed paid leave into law so that parents can take care of sick families without losing their jobs, which is fine. That's like, that's like paid leave. Now, what's included in that? I imagine that's like, pregnancy, and I imagine that's if like one of your family members has like hospice, palliative, or cancer. Things like that. That's humanitarian. However, that came at a cost to the taxpayers too. Which, is that a social expectation? Should society be expected to pay for the plight of other people? Now, consider this. I'm going to say no. Because what if that family member is in medical care because they did not treat their body properly? What if they were an overeater, like, very unhealthy? What if they were like severely chronically alcoholic for no damn reason? Although there are typically underlying reasons. However, it's like, why should we pay for someone else? It's like, unless it's organic, unless it's like, oh, there's something in the environment which is causing a cancer, or there's something in the water which is causing a malady or something like that. It's like, no, what Tim Walz did is he wanted socialized medicine where we have to foot the bill for people who make poor life decisions, which affect their health negatively. So that's what you want to do as that's your policy. That's the kind of person Tim Walz is. He wants people to be on socialized medicine. Now, if we go over to Trump campaign, so we go over to the Donald Trump campaign page, let's see what we've got going on over here. He might be asking for money right off the bat. We'll find out. All right, let's see. Yep. He's like, I want money right off the bat. All right, but there's more. There's got to be more, so let's close that. Come on. All right, let's see. Platform. What's this part right here? Join our movement. Okay, they're not after me. They're after you. I'm just standing in their way. That was his quote. Contribute and volunteer. All right, expected that on this, just like on Kamala Harris and Tim Walz page, very first splash screens are like, get involved, pay us some money. All right, but let's look at the platform. All right. Oh, look at this. Read the official 2024 Republican Party platform here. Not Project 2025, mind you. Not what the mainstream media wants us. The mainstream media is like, look at Project 2025, 2025, and everything like that. No, I'll go and look at the actual campaign for the Trump Vance, campaign and see what they got. Number 1, seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. I concur. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. That's going to be crazy. That's going to be nuts. I'm not going to lie. That number 2, I'm on board with it, and at the same time, I highly expect it to be very chaotic. We as American citizenry are really going to have to come together to make that happen. End inflation and make America affordable again. That is a very vague statement. All right. So I would want that fleshed out more. Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, President Trump. Point number 3. Please expand. Can I actually click on that? No, I cannot. Mr. President Trump, please have your staff expand on point number 3 because I want more details. All right. Number 4, make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. I want that. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Depends on the industry. That really depends on the industry. I don't want us turning into China with a bunch of like smog, fog, and pollution and acid rain. All right. Although we've had some acid rain, I just, I'd like to be able to breathe freely. Even though I do smoke, I'd rather not be smoking a bunch of, what is the word I'm looking for? Chemicals that I'm not willfully putting into my body on my own accord. All right. Number 6, large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Yes, and that would probably go in with the tariffs. It's like the tariffs would fund so many programs. And I think later in this, I believe, I haven't read the whole thing yet, I'm hoping he talks about trimming the fat on social programs. All right. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Absolutely, and all the headaches that go with that. I am completely on board with that. It's like, I may not like what some person says. I may not like how some person, does their religion and all that. And that's just part and parcel with living in a free society. Now, those pedophiles, on the other hand, they can go right to hell because they will. All right. Number 9. Oh, wait. Number 8. Let's see. Prevent World War III, restore peace to Europe and the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over entire country, all made in America. I'm going to need more details on that. Donald Trump, President Trump, I need more details on point number 8. All right. Number 9, end the weaponization of government against the American people. Absolutely, positively, motherfucking thank you. Absolutely. The very idea of what we've been witnessing with the weaponization of the government against the American people is absolutely ridiculous. Friggin' banana republic commie motherfuckers. All right, stop the migrant crime epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and lock up violent offenders. Good luck with number 10, Donald Trump. Good luck with number 10. That's going to take a lot of resources to get into control, and I'm ready for it. But I'll tell you what, they're weakening society right now under the Harris, Walz, Biden, whatever the hell this regime is. You're going to be dealing with a lot of people who do not have a lot of resources left when you want to put action number 10 in. It's like, we're really going to have to come together as citizens of this country and lift each other up. That's for damn sure. Number 11, rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Oh, that's going to depend on culture. That is really going to depend on culture. We have been watching a cultural decline. So yes, I would like to see number 11 too, because I remember what it was like to have, beautiful, thriving cities and such, and not this boarded up, shit smelling, pot reeking bullshit that's going on currently. All right. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. Absolutely. Because a strong military protects a country. All right. Keep the U.S. dollar at the world reserve currently. I think we're already losing number 13. Can we bring it back? I don't know. I think that we're already losing at point number 13 with keeping the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. I think that they are quickly, before Donald Trump can even come back into office, they are quickly de-dollarizing. All right. So fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Social Security. I know some people like it, some people don't. I think it's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, it's just not fundamentally sound. There's got to be a way to privatize one's investments and not rely on Social Security, because Social Security has been used as the federal branch of the government's piggy bank. And I'd like to see that shit come to an end. Plus, it's like they're taking money out of your paycheck to like pay into your Social Security. It's like, why not give the power to you? And then how about this? How about train people how to invest wisely, and by looking at other people who are proven investors, take lessons from those who are successful and emulate or modify or improve whatever successful people do. And how about not rely on Social Security? Just a thought. Freedom Flyer, good morning. Come on, man. Just jump on the magic bus. Depends on where that bus is going. White dues for Harris fees. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that soy latte. Oh, okay. Where would we leave off? Okay. 14, I think that we covered. Okay, that was Social Security. 15, cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulations. Absolutely. Because they're not talking about the infrastructure costs on those heavy ass vehicles on asphalt. Imagine yourself, you're in Texas, hot. You're on asphalt because you're no longer on a concrete road, like what have you. Your vehicle weighs about, about 2.5 times more than it normally does, and now your tires are getting all fucked up because you're digging down into the asphalt, which is causing abrasions, more abrasions than necessary. Plus, you might just be rolling that asphalt up on your wheels, and the next thing you know, you've got like a freaking flat. Alignment's all knocked out of whack, and now you're back at the freaking shop having your car serviced, your electric car serviced, because it tore the roads up, because the roads weren't rated for that weight. There are things called load limits. Not to mention semi-trucks. How the hell, tell me this, how in the hell are you supposed to have a semi-truck, an electric semi, okay? Weighs a lot, which means that you're going to be carrying a lot less cargo in your container, because there are weight limits, seasonal weight limits. In the winter, you can carry more on the roads because, things harden up. But when it gets hot out, the weight limits decrease because of that fluidity of polymers within the asphalt. They expand, they loosen up, they get softer, which means that you cannot carry as much. So in the summer months, in the heat, it means that shipping would have to send less product in order to meet those weight requirements. Because if you have an electric semi, that thing weighs a lot more on its own. So you're making more trips. How is that efficient? That's not efficient. That's silly. Okay, let's see. Cancel electric vehicle. We already went through that. Number 16. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory. Thank you. Radical gender ideology. Yes. And other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Yes, let the kids be kids, for Pete's sake. It's like, goodness gracious. Would you please get them so they can understand how to freaking do math in their head? I mean, with the very idea that we are coming to an era where children cannot even do basic subtraction. And I mean, let's just start with addition and subtraction should be fairly easy. And then at some point in their teens, a child should be able to do triple digit multiplication and perhaps decimal point division. Maybe even synthetic division if you feel fun. But it's like, why are we removing that ability to just do the basics in math? To understand the words of vocabulary, to understand how to take words like out of a thesaurus. Suppose you want to be fancy, a little bougie, maybe a little posh, and maybe colorize your language a bit more for diversity, that kind of shit. It's like, no, but what do we have? So many children just stuck on these damn devices, getting fed this rot and emotional manipulation. Oh my word. How is a child supposed to have a proper foundation in self-esteem when all they're being told is that they're wrong body, wrong thoughts, wrong everything? That's abusive. All right, let's see. Keep men out of women's sports. That's so cute. That's number 17. It's like, and for number 17, get those dudes out of the women's locker rooms, which I agree with. They should, definitely get them out. I just think it's interesting that that's a key point. All right. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Yes. I think that's a short-term goal, but it's a goal nonetheless. And I don't know why it's at number 18. Maybe that should be at number 1. I'm just saying, along with keep men out of women's sports, maybe those should be, well, let's see what's at the top. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Okay, yep, that's important. I might reorder these. I would probably reorder these because I know that it's just a list, but I don't understand if this is by priority or if we're just looking at the points here. I mean, because they could have just used bullet points. They didn't need to use a numerical system. All right. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of election or proof of citizenship. Whatever happened to same-day voting? Through all my years until Obama, I think it was until Obama, I had never heard of taking a whole month to vote and the proliferation of mail-in ballots. I mean, it's one thing if you were out of country and you had to mail in your ballot, but I had never heard of taking forever, like weeks and weeks to collect ballots and get the vote. That just seems shady from the get. All right. Secure our elections and okay, I already went over that one. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. Well, that number 20, that's kind of a vapor promise. Because what does that mean? So, President Trump, I need clarification on 20. I mean, it should be obvious. It should be obvious. However, it's not. And because it's not, I want clarification because, take no prisoners. Read more about the Trump Republican. Oh, look, you've got a whole... Here, I'm just going to drop this right here. If you want to read through this, I'm just going to drop this right into the chats. There's it on Pilled. Go on over to, where are these places? YouTube and DLive. If you guys want to go and actually look at the document, I put the document out there. Now, let's get back to Simone Crazy-ass Sanders because I know that she's probably screaming right about now. Let's see what she's doing.
System and someone that's really trying to mess with it.
Who are you?
In our opinion, but we're going to make sure that our election officials in North Carolina are doing everything that they can to get ballots out to folks as soon as possible in our state.
Chair Clinton,
Okay.
how does this delay affect your efforts in North Carolina? And I'm very interested in this debate that has been raging among strategists within the Beltway when it comes to North Carolina and the Republican candidate for governor, who is Mark Robinson, who's the current lieutenant governor of the state. And folks are saying that in North Carolina, Mark Robinson is dragging Donald Trump down, and Democrats feel that there is a boon, frankly, to Josh Stein and Vice President Harris. But I've heard from people in North Carolina that that's not necessarily the case, and it's still a fight in the state, and it's going to be a fight for the vice president versus Donald Trump. Can you just make it plain for us here?
It's a fight everywhere in North Carolina, but I do think that Joe Biden losing our state by a 1% margin in 2020, 74,000 votes. We know those votes are out there in counties across North Carolina, and the Democratic Party here is working very hard with our coordinated campaign to make sure that we're reaching ground across all 100 counties in our state, and we're not leaving one single voter behind. But Mark Robinson is our current lieutenant governor, and he is someone that has been a Holocaust denier, an abortion denier, someone that would further take North Carolina backwards than our Republican-dominated state legislature already has this last year. But we're also seeing a very strong fight from our Democratic nominee in Josh Stein, who's our current Attorney General in North Carolina, too. And we're going to make sure we just fight for every single vote. We don't ride the polar coaster here. And so we're just trying to make sure that Democrats and voters across North Carolina fundamentally understand, to Congresswoman Williams' point, what's at stake in this election cycle, which is fundamental freedoms across North Carolina and abortion rights, especially in our state this year.
I'd like to stay in North Carolina for a little extra moment because I've always found North Carolina to be more of the sweet spot in the South than a lot of people would say Virginia, right? Because that's where it really all began in the 90s. You saw this demographic shift and the voting shift. But North Carolina, for me, has always been an intriguing opportunity for both parties, quite frankly, to level up a solid campaign. And with all due respect to your gubernatorial candidate there on the Republican side, that brother's got some issues he's got to work out with voters. So it makes that spot even sweeter. I think. In fact, you've got Forbes noting why North Carolina has suddenly become a key swing state. Vice President Kamala Harris could become only the second Democratic presidential candidate to win North Carolina in more than 40 years, as the state has slowly shifted more to the left over the past decade, thanks in part to a growing high-tech corridor. I don't like that framing because it's not a shift to the left versus the right. It's a shift in how voters are looking at their vote and how those votes align with their values, how those votes align with their heritage, and a whole bunch of other things.
I was going to say, because some of it is demographic. Some of it is about the number of black voters and Latino voters who are now in North Carolina.
Exactly. So Chairwoman, how do you see it? Because I think, you've now got an amazing anchor in the South between North Carolina and Georgia. Because I think that again, for me, sets up Texas 2028. You hear me dance on that one for a while.
The South's got something to say, Michael.
Okay. I think that what's important to note about North Carolina is that we are the most rural of all the battleground states. And, we are actually unlike Georgia in the sense that we don't have an Atlanta metro area that is a good chunk or majority of where our state population resides. North Carolina has huge amounts of dense rural communities in it. And out of the 20 majority minority counties we have in the state right now, 18 of those are rural counties in eastern North Carolina. The first time Barack Obama won this state was in 2008, and Democrats still had control of our state legislature. In 2010, we lost our state legislature. Republicans gerrymandered North Carolina, and we've been under that Republican gerrymander ever since. And what we've seen since then is a decline at the federal level for us to be able to win back our national races. And so I fundamentally think that we have to chase after our state legislature hard, which is what we're doing this year in North Carolina. We're contesting 168 out of 170 state legislative seats across the state, trying to make sure that we pull out every single voter possible in districts that may have felt like their votes have been disenfranchised and haven't mattered, especially at the level where politics impacts them the most, which is our state legislative level.
The rural point is very important, and I know that dovetails with Georgia as well. In broadband, internet, that is one of the things that the Biden administration and then the Biden-Harris campaign, now the Harris-Walton
has not delivered on.
Absolutely leaned into. I mean,
and has not delivered on.
It has gone to states like North Carolina and Georgia to be able to lay fiber optic cables so that folks have Wi-Fi and internet in their community is literally life-changing.
Representative Williams.
Yeah, and it hasn't happened.
We're revitalizing rural economies for the first time, and people ask, why did this need to happen? And, I grew up in rural North Carolina, and the entire time that I grew up there, I always thought that I had bad internet because I chose to live out here, right? Or like my family chose to live out here. And this administration is saying for the first time that, no, everyone deserves to have this opportunity. It is the great equalizer. It's the way to have telehealth. It's the way to have economic opportunities for people that live anywhere across the country. And that's something that our party should be very, very proud of.
Because you said it and didn't do it? Yeah, be proud of that.
The horrific shooting at a Georgia high school that happened this past week. 14-year-old suspect, 4 dead, use of an AR-15.
14 years old.
Before, and I think part of what makes
a child.
The story so difficult is that this is an issue
I got
that
thoughts
has
on
come
that.
to seem intractable, both in terms of our willingness to examine gun safety in this country and to develop communities of care for communities that experience tragedies like this. And so I wonder, as we barrel towards Election Day, how you are seeing what happened on Wednesday through the lens of what's going to happen in November.
So I've been on a reproductive freedom bus tour throughout Georgia for the past 2 days, and it's headed to North Carolina now. But at the beginning of each canvas launch and each press conference, that was at the top of voters' minds. And it is not just an impact on the community in Barrow County.
Did I just snort online without muting my mic?
Teachers and those students at that school, but this impacts all parents, all people who send their children to school. When I got the news, I was on the phone with someone and I heard it in the background that there was a Georgia school shooting. And then they said Grady Hospital is where victims were being transported, which is our local hospital here in Atlanta. And my heart sank because I know that I'd just taken my 9-year-old to school that morning and I didn't know which school it was. This is the fear that parents live with every day. But yet we have Republican leaders in the United States Congress who are not willing to do something to save our children. When we saw that children were massacred in kindergarten, first grade at Sandy Hook and nothing was done, that showed me that the NRA had control over the Republican Party, and they have not gone back. What I know is that we need to elect a leader in this country who will do something to save lives.
Then say it. Say what you want to have done. Just say it.
Drills at school, and his little
Are you coming with a solution?
That the little girl who talks too much is going to get them caught in class because the shooter or the intruder might hear them. He shouldn't have to live this way. And as a member of the United States Congress, I will continue to introduce policies like I have a SAFE Act, which will give a tax credit, not taking away anyone's gun, but requiring them to be stored in a safe. And you get a tax credit to buy the safe so that children, 14-year-olds, like the 14-year-old in Winder, Georgia, won't have access to your family's guns. That's a start. It's not the end all be all, but it's a start. We must do something in this country to save.
Are there not already laws on the books that you have to secure your weapons?
Trauma cycle dealing with this. Parents, communities, and it doesn't have to be this way. These are policy decisions.
Congresswoman Williams, as someone who put her 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds on the bus on Friday, you just hit me in the heart.
It doesn't require a tax credit. It doesn't require an incentive. It just should simply be part of the law.
Fresh off a visit to Pennsylvania to discuss the Harris Walls.
Am I wrong? Am I right, Freedom Flyer? Yeah, they'll protect us. Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay. A note about the 14-year-old. I have questions about this. I have been asking, since when do we show the faces of minors, regardless of the crime they have committed, whether or not they're being charged as an adult? I thought we still protected kids and their identities. I thought that's what we still do. I guess I'm wrong. There's another thing, guys. I don't believe that there's such a thing as a transgender child. And I've heard a lot of people say, like, referring to this child as a tranny. And when I say I don't understand why that they're referring to this child as a tranny, I have been met with, well, you're just running cover for trans people. No, I'm not. I don't believe there is such a thing as a transgender child. So how can you call a child a tranny if transgender children don't exist? Why are people validating this mental illness by calling the child a tranny? That feeds into the narrative and it bolsters their argument that children can be transgender. So I've got an issue with that, not because I've been I've gone through gender reassignment and now have de-transed and stuff like that. It's not about my trans experience. It's that there's no such thing as a transgender child. There's children who have been corrupted by adults who want the children to believe that they are transgender. However, a child, I never knew one when I was growing up. I never met them until the last several years, like not even over a decade. Never heard about a child being transgender. And you'd think that, during my time growing up, and I grew up when we still had circuses, which had circus freaks and stuff like that, you think that maybe there would have been a circus show featuring a transgender child if transgender children existed throughout history. Because that would be kind of freaky. So I take issue with the notion, not with the people, because I understand that a lot of people are speaking out of emotion, and critical thinking may be put on hold momentarily when dealing with such things, because it's a high charged emotional topic when we're talking about these school shootings. I would exercise caution on calling these children trannies, because that's going to backfire. It's a trap. It's definitely a trap, in my opinion. So let's see what JD Vance is saying.
Headlines, you realize that our schools are soft targets. We've got to bolster security so that if a psycho wants to walk through the front door and kill a bunch of children, they're not able to.
Such a weak little man on this issue, and a whole lot of them. But that fact of life.
One moment. Okay, so Freedom Flyer. I'm sorry, I went very Asian there for a moment. Sorry. Freedom Flyer says, transitioning also applies to transitioning them to liberal left wokies. I don't disagree on that. And at the same time, I'm not, oh my gosh. The definitions get so foggy. It's like they keep on shifting the goalpost on what transitioning is. And it's like, I really, really need substance. Is that a fault? Is that a character flaw of my own? Is it my fault that I need substance? That I need actual cogent thought in order to accept something? And even if it is even if it is a character flaw, is it a bad flaw to have? Good morning, Mikey Baseball. Good morning. Let's go back. Let's see what they're bitching about.
Problems with two parties that have an appetite for doing that.
And this is a problem. You cannot tell me the mass killing of children is not a problem in this country.
Guns are the #1 killer of our children. And I remember...
That's not true. Simone, you know that's not true.
It used to be a fact of life that the #1 killer of people was car crashes. You know what we did about that fact of life as a...
No, it wasn't. It was heart attacks.
We instituted seatbelt regulations. And now the numbers of people who die from a car crash have drastically been reduced because people wear seatbelts.
And guess what? It did.
Cancer, heart attacks, stroke, slip and falls, accidents, poisonings. These things are also very high on the list. Children being killed by weapons discharge, and whether accidental or intentional, is not the #1 killer of kids. People can argue that abortion would be the #1, and I would tend to agree, since I believe that life begins at conception. So absolutely, abortion is the #1 if you really want to be real about this.
Use guns for all types of activities, social activities, etc. But you do have a problem here that needs to be addressed, and the seemingly no will to do it.
Well, then give us a fucking solution. Just say this fucking solution.
Christian Anguilo, just some.
You're just gonna read names now.
The names that we should know. We'll be right back.
Here's some emotion. There's no substance. Here's some more emotion. All right, here, let me just go.
It's no big deal.
Getting me angry on a freaking Saturday. Good morning. Fiverr. Okay, hire a freelance. There's Martha Stewart. Hey, I had white collar crime. I went to prison. I'm a hard bitch. Get Fiverr. Okay. All right, what do we have here? Okay, here's another kid. Kid at school. Kid with a lunchbox. Ooh, big old turkey leg. All right, and then that guy's like, oh, they put the wrong things in the wrong people's hands. The little girl should have had the steak and the other guy should have had the turkey leg. What's she eating? There's some processed shit. Here, this is full of maltodextrin. You want an insulin spike? No, why eat natural food? Eat the processed shit. Yeah, processed shit is tasty. Look at that. You can go and get yourself a nice insulin spike. Go and get some Ozempic and lose the weight later. Oh, there's Carvana. You get your car out of a freaking vending machine, and when they drop it off at your house, they go and they bust it. Yes, have you guys ever seen those things where Carvana delivers your car and they just freaking drop it? Yes, this has totally not been through a chop shop. Yes. Here we go. Yes, here's a check. Take your vehicle away. That wasn't even yours. You just stole someone's title and just had your neighbor's car toted away. You got paid. What's this? Okay, here's some nutrition. All right, what are these bioactives? Yes, put it into a pill form. You don't need to actually grow your own sprouts or anything like that, which is like it's a lot less expensive. No, buy this processed shit. This shit that's been sitting, I don't know, in the back of a truck in the heat, degrading and stuff like that, but you're using the placebo effect. You know, just take this tablet. You'll feel great. Look at all these benefits. You can see and feel. Yes, use the colostrum. Yes, that stuff that comes out of like pregnancy, like after a female animal and or human has a pregnancy and produces the colostrum. Yes, definitely. It's like, that's what you want. You want something intended for infants. You want that in your body. Okay, what are these old people talking about? We are golfing girl. Greta, you're going to throw out your hip. What the hell is that little dinosaur doing there? What is this? What? Okay, maybe I don't golf enough. Tick pick. Same seats, better prices. Okay. Female firefighter. Can't lift anyone. Okay, great. All right, great. I'd be fearful if I were in a burning building and then a female came to come and like get me out if I was incapacitated. I'm like, fuck, we're both dying in here. Gosh. Well, who am I kidding? So let's see. Can females lift 200 pounds? Can a female lift 200 pounds safely? It's like, I would not hedge my bet on that one. All right, let's see. Careful, No Prisoners podcast. You're approaching drunk pinata frustration. Worry about your brother. Oh, Freedom Flyer. Drunk Pinata has very high quality productions. So I take that as a compliment. Thank you. All right, here we have Joy Reid. All right, Joy Reid. She's bald now for some damn reason. All right. Joy Reid, another woman who off-screen, intelligent, charming, on-screen, plantation mammy, for no damn reason. It's like, why can't you just be intelligent on-screen and off-screen? Why do you have to change personas? All right, are we coming back? Oh, here we go. Everyone get ready for a little bit more AIDS. Here we go. Okay. AIDS, add your AIDS.
Back to the weekend. The Harris campaign is ramping up its efforts to expose Project 2025 ahead of
Yes.
weekend of action aims to connect the
Remember, guys, I showed you Trump's campaign page, like, you know, all those things that are on his campaign page. They do not want to direct the public over to Trump's campaign page. They just want to talk about Project 2025. Project 2025 doesn't have a damn thing to do with the Trump campaign. But yes, let's keep talking about it. Yes, go.
Second Trump term would look like. As Vice President Kamala Harris puts it, just imagine Donald Trump with no guardrails. Joining us.
I love it. Yes, let's have unguardrailed Trump. Right? Yes, let's have that. I like that, Kamala. Yes, I want to see that. Ooh, girl, what happened to your hair?
So nice to see you.
Okay.
It's wonderful to be at the power table.
There we go.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
The power table.
What do you think about this? I mean, look, Michael talked about the guardrails that the vice president talked about. Let's play what she had to say about how Donald Trump has openly vowed to be a dictator on day one.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about it.
He has openly vowed to be a dictator on day one.
Love it.
He has said he would end the independence of the Department of Justice, the United States Department of Justice.
The independence, they shouldn't be independent. They should be guided by the people, the citizenry.
Against people who disagree with him.
Not disagree. People who are misappropriating the law.
Of the Constitution of the United States of America.
Oh, gee, you mean like how you guys have been doing this whole entire time?
Well, you know, you won't need to vote anymore after Donald Trump becomes president. Look, you know,
now,
I think
I am curious about that. I am curious about that. Now, being 100, you know, we don't take any prisoners over here at No Prisoners Productions. What did he mean by that, really? What did he mean by that? Because I am concerned It's like, I will admit, I don't know what he really meant when he said that about you won't need to vote anymore after this. So if you guys know in the chats, fill me in, inform me. I look to you, my brothers and sisters, to keep me in line as well, so I don't go running off on some tangent and bullshit, because Lord knows you guys will see me go off on tangents. All right, back to this.
Is that not only can the president basically make the Department of Justice his own
Freedom Flyer, you mean.
personal prosecutorial tool, it shifts what we won in the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which is the creation of the enforcement power of the Department of Justice over the shenanigans in states
Ben,
that
you'll
are
be
trying
fine.
to control and discriminate against Black or Latino or any voter.
Oh, geez, always about
They wanna
colorations.
Take that from the Civil Rights Division and make it a prosecutorial act to go after voters. And we've seen that with Crystal Mason, who went to vote being told that she could lawfully vote. Black woman, told
In which
by
year?
the system that she could vote, shows up to vote, and then gets prosecuted for voting. Now,
Let me go and look up
imagine
Crystal Mason.
that is the kind of thing.
All
that
right, one
is
moment.
about
Crystal
It's about everyday lives. It's not remote.
Mason
It's not
voting.
distant. And so
Let's go
it's
take a peek
clear
see.
and present danger, and this election will determine what happens.
It's also
Okay. Texas to reconsider case of, let's
Let's
see.
made up their mind are more open to.
Let me just go and share this right over here. Is this the person? Crystal Mason. All right. They brought it up. I'm curious. Let's replace the screen sharing. Let's go over here to Crystal Mason. All right. I need to bring this in. All right. You know what? I'm going to bring this over to the landscape screen so we can actually see. All right. There we go. What the fuck is this? Get out of here. All right. Texas to reconsider case of Black woman sentenced to 5 years for trying to vote. Move is latest step in a case of Crystal Mason that has captured U.S. attention because of severity of sentence. All right. Texas highest criminal court announced on Wednesday it would again consider the case of Crystal Mason, a Texas woman who was sentenced to 5 years in prison for trying to cast a provisional ballot in the 2016 presidential election when she was ineligible. To vote. Oh, we left off that little tidbit, didn't we? All right. Why was she ineligible? I think we're going to find out. All right. The announcement from the Texas County Criminal Appeals of the latest step in nearly 8-year case that has captured national attention because of the severity of Mason's sentence. Mason, who lives in Fort Worth, attempted to vote in 2016 while on supervised release, which is like probation, for a federal tax felony. So she was convicted. Maybe, let's find out. All right. Texas, like several other U.S. states, bars people convicted of a felony from voting until they have completed their sentence. Even though her supervised release officer testified that they never advised her she could not vote, prosecutors argue she knew she was ineligible and tried to vote anyway. Her ballot was never counted. So shut the fuck up, Joy Reid and your MSNBC and everything that's going on with this mammy motherfucking talk over here. Because you guys left that part out. You guys left that part out that she was a felon, you bitches. You lying little bitches. You trifling hoes.
Regulations.
Let's go.
Of that at the federal level. These are things that
Lever.
are in Project 2025 because what it is seeking to do is dismantle the ability of our federal government to protect us.
It's not just the overtime.
Thank you, Chopside TMC. Amen, amen. Don't let Trump cheat. Same day paper ballots, proving citizenship and eligibility. Hallelujah. Yes, let it be.
2 million federal workers, at least 1 million of them should be fired. We'll start with 50,000, but at least 1 million should be fired.
Yes, there's a lot of fat in the federal working pool, and like a lot of them. Oh my gosh. Oh well, you know then. Oh shit. That does draw a quagmire. Then we have 1 million unemployed people on benefits. Oh, that is a catch-22.
Frame that narrative that you talked about. Let's take a quick.
Poonslayer, did you just give us a period? Good morning, Poonslayer.
Trump's Project 2025 agenda will give him unchecked political power with no guardrails, and it would take...
That's not his platform! Go to the fucking website, you snaky little bitches.
It would also require states to monitor women's pregnancies. It bans abortion and would rip away health...
Yes, monitor their pregnancies and make sure they're not killing their babies in states where you're not allowed to kill your baby while it's in utero. It's like, it's just a state-by-state thing. It's not like he's making a federal broad sweeping mandate that you cannot terminate your pregnancy abroad. It's like, he's leaving it to the states where it should be.
Who's out here fighting for me? And she's trying to let folks know it's not him.
And there's a lot of
Okay, misinformation. Is it another felony to cast an invalid vote or just a misdemeanor? I don't know. I don't know. Let me look at here. You guys listen to this while I read the article over here. I'll read it quietly to myself.
That you all did was so illuminating, right, and so important. But it's that last line. He's for himself. She's for the people. Right. That is the core of the message, and all that they can elevate out to draw that contrast in very plain terms. Childcare, we just had childcare, right, come up. I mean,
Okay.
Did we?
Okay, misinformation. Considering that she was on probation when she cast that provisional ballot, this does open the door for more litigation on this case. Is it a felony? That's to be decided. What the hell did they just laugh about?
Very helpful, honey, but she retired. Okay, she's not retired to watch all the children.
But remind people, they want to raise the retirement age before you can get Social Security benefits by years. But then
how many?
Those same people who have to work longer, who are going to retire into poverty, should at the same time be taking care of their grandkids. How is that going to work?
And take care of
Bitch, please, I have to interrupt. You have Kamala Harris who wants to introduce a 25% tax on unrealized gains. And people are like, oh, that's only for the millionaires and everything like that. It's like, who the hell do you think holds your 401k? Who in the hell do you think services your IRA, your Roth, your Kiosk, your all of your retirement plans? It's like those are held by billionaires. It's like, so if you tax the unrealized gains, they're investing your money. That's how they're making your retirement plan, is through a series of investments, which means that they would fall under the 25% unrealized gains. You'll never see your retirement if this were to happen. If Kamala Harris has her way with this 25% tax on unrealized gains, you will never get your retirement. Because the companies who are in charge of managing your funds are going to be losing money hand over fist. And what? For what? So we can fund the government for about what? 3 days, when you consider the cost, when you consider the amount of money it takes to run this country and its government. When you consider the millions upon millions of dollars into the billions per day to run the country as it is currently, with all the excess fat and pork and bullshit and social programs which are unnecessary, and the fraud and the money laundering and all that other garbage. And then you want to go and say, oh, well, under Trump, you're not going to be able to have a retirement. I guarantee you under Kamala, you won't have a retirement. So you want to talk about retirement age. It's like, you'll never be able to freaking retire. You will have to work till the grave. If that goes, okay, I don't want to get too... I want to have No Prisoners Productions be a bit professional. I know I'm hanging out in my blue plaid and stuff, and I look like pretty casual. But it is Saturday morning, and I'm beyond cartoons at this point. I'm just saying, bullshit.
Senator Amy Klobuchar, she will be here to join us to talk about the Vice President's reproductive rights bus tour. This, folks,
oh, good Lord, not this old hag. Oh, get ready. Okay, everyone. Get ready. Go take your vitamin C. All right, what do we have here? All right, here's a monster. This is relatable. This very cheap animation. Here, have some chips. Okay, I'm going to take your chips away. Here, watch me juggle this shit. Oh, you're distracted. Oh, you have ADHD? Oh, what? You're trying to sell your home? What the hell is this? Now, animal abuse? This is abusive. Did you just abuse that creature? I don't even know what the hell is thumbtack. Okay, here we have somebody in a Hyundai. That's stolen. That's probably a Hyundai Sonata. All right, was that a Hyundai? No, was that a Honda? I don't know what the hell this car is. All right, did you steal that car? Is that car yours? Who are you talking to? Are you crazy? I'm going to find out. Hold on. Who are you talking to?
I know it's hard right now, but the end of this chapter is the beginning of a new one. An opportunity for you to do your feedback.
Oh my gosh, the person was having depression. Oh wow. Okay, that's a sad state of affairs when you have to have commercials about people having depression sitting in a car. Okay, she smells something. Okay, you know she farted. I'm sorry, that was so vulgar. Oh, I'm sorry, but now she's trying to talk about like the diet, like what she had last night. This woman is like, are you fucking serious? She's like, could you maybe have not done that? Oh my gosh. Oh, and now they're bonding. Because it's like we're both stuck in this stinky ass car, so why not? Oh. Okay, what do we have here? All right. Men lounging. Is this a gay commercial? Something seems low-key gay about this. What's going on? Where are the women? Oh, there's a woman. Unless that was Blair White. In which case, that was a dude. Oh, those are all dudes. We're in a Thai whorehouse. What the hell's going on? Oh, that might be a woman. Okay. Prize picks. Yes! Go and spend money for money you don't have to win money you'll never get. Yes, but you have to play to win. And now we're back with Martha Stewart over here. Multiple orchids. Look at my kittens. It's like, here's my mood ring litter. It's like, oh my gosh, your cat's dying. Oh, this one means that your cat's hungry. Oh, this one, there's blood in your cat's urine. Your cat has cancer. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Oh, I wish I had the video from yesterday. 45-1 had an amazing video of guided what do you call it? Meditation. Okay, what do we have here? Do you have herpes? Oh, constipation. Yes, constipation often feels like lava and magma. That's why they showed the lava and the magma. It's like, because constipation feels like that. You're trying to like pass a stool, does not want to come out. Feels like you're in the ring of fire and you're not bloated at all. Well, are you on Ozempic? What, are you going to eat this? What is this seed.com? What is this, a laxative? Okay, okay. All right, now we're on to cookware. All right. Made in what? Made in what? Is it important? Where is this from? Made in. Okay, it's just made in cookware. All right, is it high quality? I can't touch it. Where can I go to touch it? Can I inspect this before I go and buy it? Or do I have to buy it first and find out it doesn't work and then send it back? How inconvenient. Oh my lord, soy boy. Oh, yes, the hands. Oh, very intense. And look at this and how I'm pinching the air and, just driving the point home and me and, yes. Do you understand what I'm saying? I need to convince you with sign language subliminally. Yes. Oh. All right, we're going through the mystery door. Mystery door. What do we got, Simone?
Donald Trump's 2016 election interference case has been delayed. Yet again. Yesterday, Judge Juan Merchan announced Trump's sentencing on 34 felony criminal counts has been pushed back to November 26th.
Shopside TMC, exactly. Being taxed according to what the collector guesses what you may have made. If you sold it, then is delusional. Absolutely.
Following the Supreme Court's immunity ruling. Joining us now to break it all down is former FBI General Counsel Andrew Weissman. He's a former senior member of the Mueller Probe, a New York University law professor, and also the co-host of a podcast with the Webby, MSNBC's Prosecuting Donald Trump.
Leave some jobs for everybody else.
Thank you, Freedom Flyer. Yes, this fake I'm smart glasses.
I know how Michael feels about this. You have cautioned.
Very quiet.
Yes,
very quiet
very
about
demure.
it. Right.
Silver lining here, which is
demure.
this means that the Supreme Court cannot engage in this case before the election. Make that pitch to me.
Okay. So one, there's no question, people who think that the judge is, by the way, I love that it's two people looking at me going like, what on God's green earth are you saying? But there's no question that Donald Trump, in this case, is being treated differently. I mean, that
Okay.
argument is like, is he being treated like anyone else? That's impossible to make that argument. And so in
It's not impossible to make the argument. You can make the argument.
I'm treating him like everyone else, and she did. And with Juan Merchan, there's no question that, but for the sort of political calendar, this would not have been put off. This reason I think there's a silver lining is that there wasn't just a sentencing that was going to happen that was scheduled. There was also this issue of the immunity motion that is pending. And that is the thing that there was a lot of skirmishing this week about whether there would be a stay and whether that issue would get teed up. And the judge had said, I'm going to deal with that. That issue.
Why was it a skirmish?
Is the one that could likely have gone to the Supreme Court. There could be all sorts of meddling. We've already seen Judge Kavanaugh.
Why are they so intent on making it so he cannot run? What is going on? I mean, we know the answer, but it's like at this point, hasn't everyone else started to question what in the fuck are they trying to do to this guy?
To reverse this and say, you know what, this was improperly brought, and whatever kind of garbage they're going to say.
I need to clean up my language. I apologize, guys.
Which is sort of outlandish, because remember, this case was not about anything that Donald Trump did as president. It was all personal conduct. To have the Supreme Court get its hands on it pre-election, to say this isn't, you know what, he's not really a felon, and I'm getting rid of this. I think it's one of the effects is this all gets decided later and in a lower volume setting. In other words, post-election, when if Trump is lost, there's sort of less political heat. And I also think it's probably not.
Michael is about to speak.
Yeah.
I want to correct myself because my dyslexia kicked in. September 18th is when it was originally happened, but like that was the
Her
second.
dyslexia kicked in over audio?
Second time it's been rescheduled because they were supposed to be a sentencing in July, then they rescheduled to September 18th, and now November 26th.
We have patty caked this man all the way through this process. Our courts.
Oh, really? Is that why you guys have been so concerned about how much he's spending on legal fees? Earlier this morning, Mika was like, how much is he spending per day on legal fees? And she was like smiling. Like, are we exhausting his coffers? Are we putting him in the ground? And then this guy is like saying, we've been patty caking him? Oh, sweetie.
Do not give this man more cachet than any other. He is a former president, which means he is no different than anyone sitting at this table. And the fact that
how many of you are former
the
presidents?
imposition of sentence will be
I think there's a difference.
To avoid any appearance, however unwarranted. So the fact that you have to
You're reading, dude. You are reading.
Goes on to say that the
why are you reading? You don't have any thoughts of your own? Oh my gosh.
Presidential election.
They're all oh my gosh, they all have scripts. Am I just realizing this now that they all have scripts in front of them?
Governor was in the exact same
They all have
position.
scripts.
The candidate was running for the U.S. Senate was in the exact same position. There is no difference in those offices.
Absolutely misinformation. You're taking off. Have a great breakfast.
So why, Andrew, why does this judicial system, which Donald Trump has punked from day one with all of the, excess appeals and the bogus crap that he raises, we see it now playing out with the Eugene Carroll case yet again.
Because you guys brought it up.
You want us to trust this system, but as a citizen, I'm looking at it and go, that's not going to happen to me if I'm in that position.
So everything you're saying, I agree with, in the sense that the judicial system of this country, compared to
why, thank you, misinformation. Thank you for the cookie.
How to hold political leaders to account and to do it in a timely way, we get an F. We have done a terrible job. I would say the New York
Chopside TMC. The larger the glasses, the more cartoonish and Nintendo-type avatar, not real person presented, right?
We look ridiculous to the world, and you can compare.
You didn't need all of that. What you just said to look ridiculous.
France,
You are already
all
doing
these
it.
countries that have figured out how to
Israel.
do it. Yep, Israel.
Buzzword. Buzzword. Random buzzword.
But since October 7th, Prime Minister Netanyahu would not be the current prime minister.
So
So you're absolutely right. You can definitely
Make that
get
make sense,
behind
Simone.
the
What you
idea
just
of,
said,
just
Simone,
treat
make that
them
make
like everyone
sense.
else. Hunter Biden has already gone to trial and been convicted, and he's the son of the sitting president without all of these shenanigans. So that in terms of faith,
And we were told that was Russian disinformation. Are we going to talk about that part?
So I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm trying
he's
to
been
say
convicted
that
apparently
there
of that
is
tax
a
fraud,
potential
not the
upside.
other
In terms
stuff,
of the Supreme
from what I
Court,
understand.
we know
But we were
now
told that was
how
Russian
political
disinformation
they are.
along with the
The
laptop.
presidential immunity decision is it's hard to describe how fundamentally wrong that is and how much it changes the way our checks and balances are supposed to work. You had the sitting president of the United States on the day of the decision coming out, making a speech saying, you know what, I, as the president, do not need this power. I should not have this power. This is wrong. So that issue of like the Supreme Court on the
because somebody told him, okay,
how political they are.
Biden also said no one should. What did he say about taxes? He's like, pay your fair. Everyone should pay their fair share. And it's like, and meanwhile, he's trying to run cover for his son, and then his son pleads guilty.
This case
and it's like,
Donald Trump getting a jail sentence go up. With this being,
oh yeah, I noticed that dynamic camera work. They want to keep you. They want to keep your attention shifting.
Point. I mean, I listened to Judge Chutkan in the DC case saying when Donald Trump's lawyer said, you know, we're talking about the presidency here, and she goes, you might be talking about the presidency. I'm talking about a 4-count indictment.
There you go.
And we're going to have a schedule, and I don't care about the political calendar.
Judge Merchan does not feel that way. I feel like if Donald Trump happens to win, Judge Merchan's going to hit us with the...
Good morning, Sipping with Sean. Oh, Sean, hey, good morning. By the way, I had like put out for guys, if anyone wants to come on into the restream, here's the restream link. If anyone wants to come on in and just like, you know, talk about like current events or like whatever you want to talk about,
Andrew is the host
come on in.
of
Oh, someone put a chat over here. What do they say?
You can download it right now wherever you get your podcast.
Hey!
Next, Senator Amy Klobuchar.
Sean, I am sorry. I didn't even like realize. Yes. I didn't even realize that you were sending actual,
now abortion is
what do you call
into
these things?
Trump's
Comments.
dilemma. You are watching The Weekend.
I need to keep that comment thing over. Why, thank you, Sean. Thank you so much for the can. Now, are you guys familiar with Sipping with Sean? Do you guys know about the Whiskey Capitalist? Have you ever been to the Whiskey Capitalist?
Yes,
Let me go and get my clotted cream out of the oven, and I'll come right back, and we'll talk about the Whiskey Capitalist. One moment, please.
Thank you. It's home, not home.
Yeah, it's pretty sure it's home. American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
This is the greatest sleep innovation ever created. It's the patented Gel Flex Grid inside every Purple mattress. Only Purple passes the raw egg test because only Purple cradles your body and simultaneously supports it. Memory foam doesn't come close. Purple conforms to relieve pressure from hips and shoulders while supporting your spine and instantly adapts no matter your position. Sleep on a Purple risk-free for 100 nights. Save up to $1,000 during our Labor Day sale. Visit purple.com or a store near you.
We can just have someone on Fiverr do it. It's no big deal.
Hiring freelancers just for small tasks is like hiring Martha Stewart as an...
Here's your coffee.
Oh, best intern ever.
Sometimes great
I'm
challenge
gonna let
is
that
right.
cream go for another 2 hours, maybe like an hour to 2 hours at 175, because it does not have the golden crust I look for at this moment. It's already been going for 12 hours overnight, but when I do clotted cream, I want that cream to kind of like lift a bit more in the golden and kind of like start to fold in on itself to get that super nutty flavor in the. You know what? These ladies are just
the only major no-fee ticket.
These ladies were interrupting me, and I can't have that. The clotted cream. It's the golden crust, that nuttiness, that super buttery flavor. So good. So when I looked at it, I was like, you're still a little bit too blonde. So I put it in for another 2 hours. I'm going to go check on it in about an hour. That'll be around 9:37 my time. Go and see like how it's doing. And the reason why I'm making this clouded cream is my sister's birthday. We're celebrating it tomorrow, going over to my brother's house with his wife and such. And my parents are going to be there and everything, having a cookout. And I thought, it's like, what shall I bring? I know. I'll bring something to put on the buns, because if any of you have ever had clotted cream, it's the cream of the cream. It is better than butter. It is so rich, so savory, so lovely, so good. And it's something I want to share with my family. Now, the Whiskey Capitalist. So, if you go on over to Pilled, for those of you who do not know, because I don't know, maybe some of you don't know where the Whiskey Capitalist is. So let me see, I'm just going to type it on up in here. Come on, you're on my list. Come on. Dun, 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 dun. There we are. There we are. Right on over here. Is that showing up? Okay, let me go over here, close down this chat a little bit, and bring in this window. Right there. The Whiskey Capitalist. And I'm going to drop their link into the chat right over here, so you guys know where to go find them. Funny, humorous, engaging. They have lots of guests. They've had some interesting, what I would consider higher profile guests too. I'm a little envious, I must say. Along with, they have not just the Whiskey Capitalist. They have what is that one thing? It's like Sipping with Sean, and then they have this other thing. I think it's Ian and his wife. I'm not sure. Sean, help me out. Is it Ian and his wife? Maybe I should get some sleep at some point. Anyway, go check them out. Follow them on X. And let's see, on X, I have them as, x.com. Let's see, Titty Peen subs. Well, that's one way to do it. I get a lot of information from Titty Peen. Sean. Okay, there we go. Sean Cav right there. Sean Cav on X. Is this showing up? I hope it is. It's I'm Sean Cav on X. Let me just copy this. Right there. Copy, paste. And there, go follow I am Sean Cav, and then you can definitely, after you get to the Whiskey Capitalist Pill page, then you'll find Ian as well. You should be able to find an assortment of all their schedules and shows. It's fun. It's fun. Often my schedule conflicts, and so every once in a while I'm able to drop in and see their show, but I've always had a fun time. They've been guests on No Prisoners podcast. We've been guests on the Whiskey Capitalist. And it's such a nice thing. It's such a nice thing. But I will say, I am jealous at times. I am a little bit jealous because I've seen some of their productions, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that too. All right, back to this.
That
and absolutely, Sean. Absolutely,
not
Sean.
Just
the plugs, yes, very much. You're welcome. So yes, if anyone wants to come on in, I have placed the Restream link in there. So let me put it on over here on DLive and YouTube.
I wasn't there, but Republicans in my framing at the Democratic convention, Lieutenant Governor Duncan and others. This is part of this coalition now.
So now they have
How
it
is
too.
that messaging resonating, particularly given the sort of the focus of this bus tour?
Really strongly. You look at that first event, 10 miles from Mar-a-Lago, right in his backyard.
Oh, Amy
Make the case that
Klobuchar.
he's the one
Ugh.
responsible for doing this.
Gross.
You look at where the bus.
Nasty
going
bitch.
to Raleigh,
Nasty
North
bitch.
Carolina next.
She's the
And
one
you're
who was
seeing
at the
a ton
gala
of
event
people
back in,
that
I
haven't
forget,
come
was
to
it
me
like
before.
around 2012, I think, like
Okay,
that.
I've been voting
She was the
Republican,
one
I'm voting yes
who
on
came
Amendment
all
4.
up in,
That's
oh,
the
look,
one
45
to
one
make
actually is
sure
coming.
that you get rid of this
She's the
extreme
one
6-week
who
ban.
was promoting
You look
the
at the
transgenderism of
Kansas, when
children,
people turn out in droves on the
proclaiming
prairie. You
that
look what
the
happened in,
children would commit
Ohio,
suicide
13-point margin.
if
Those weren't just Democrats.
if parents
Wisconsin,
did not allow them. I'm going to mute her because fuck her. If they did not allow their children to transition, and you know who she had as a guest speaker, it blew my mind. I'm sitting there having my food. It was very posh. Very posh. It was a gala event. And who shows up? Have you guys ever seen the animated series Archer? You know who plays Lana? Aisha Tyler was the guest speaker. So you're telling me I stopped watching Archer after that. I was like, screw it. I was enjoying Archer up until I realized that the voice actor for Lana, who I loved Lana. Lana was tits, promotes the mutilation of children?
$6.
Right? Good morning, 45-1.
Morning.
How you doing?
All right, I finally slept. I slept for like 11 hours.
What the hell was Tom showing us last night in the oven? What the hell were those? Were those bacon wrapped chili rellenos?
They were jalapenos.
It looked good. It looked so good.
Yeah, they were tasty.
So good. So, over here on Pilled. Are you looking at the Pilled chat? I don't know if you are.
I am.
This morning. Okay, so you can see that Sean Cav over there, Sipping with Sean, is, that tweet? No, that was Tom. Sean, no, that was Tom from America Floats. That was doing the, well, then again, I know that Tweak's been talking to you guys over there at the Whiskey Capitalist, so I don't know what you saw over there, Sean. But what I saw was Tom from America Floats going and doing a smile into the camera and then panning around to the oven, which had two full air fryer racks of bacon wrapped jalapenos stuffed with what could only be, I imagine, manchetta or something. It was either cream cheese or it was manchega. It was one of the two, and it looked good. It looked real good. It looked raw. I think they were still on the, they were on the verge of cooking it or what have you. But yes, it looked good. So again, I have put the Restream links out there. If anyone cares to join in on Saturday morning, talking about whatever the hell this is going on. Miss Amy Klobuchar over here talking about some reproductive freedom, because, that's what I think about when I think about, fertility and possible brand new life. I want to see Amy Klobuchar's. Oh, look at that. It's one of them. Look at that.
For breakfast.
That is awesome. What a great way to start your day. Start your day with a bacon wrapped pepper with some cheese, looking at some woman who has manifested herself as a stale queef. This is a Saturday morning for you. Happy coffee time in flannel. Here we are.
What's up, Sean? Good to see you, brother. And you got 20 people in here watching you, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, well, I'm one of them, and then I think you're the other one. So about 18. But over there out in the interwebs, there are 20 over there, like between YouTube and DLive and wherever else that we're streaming. There are 20 people out there in the ether. And at some point, guys, I have to pull you in, but I don't have to do it like right now. But at some point, I have to pull you guys over to pill.net and turn off the other services. So that's just part of the inner workings of how we work with Pilled and somebody that's totally Pilled. Why wouldn't you want to be on Pilled? Pilled is awesome. Pilled it rocks. You've got free speech. You've got stickers. You've got high quality customer service. You've got, it's just a wonderful platform, and they're always improving it. You've got fish cam with actual lights that make the fish look like a lot more in your face. Look at that one, just sitting there scratching its belly on the substrate.
They got good current in there, man, where they can just sit there and chill like that.
Yes. Tyrantosaurus wrecked. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Freedom Flyer. Good to see you. IRL Wires and Task Call. See ya. Nice.
So yes, I plan on doing like more morning. What's up?
I love these little chill streams.
Aren't they nice? I plan on doing more of these. As you guys know, autumn and winter is coming Minnesota, so I do not have to do much to do with the orchard. I don't have to do much with like the maintenance on the property. It's like when autumn and winter comes, I can just put on flannel and just relax and just take care of of course, domestics, keep a clean house, because you guys know I'm OCD as F. So it's like that will happen, but I'm going to have more time to actually do streams and such. Love hanging out with you guys. And I really love that you guys come to hang out with us. But it will be under the No Prisoners Productions moniker, still hosted on the No Prisoners podcast channel. Typically in the mornings, we might have like some evening stuff. And of course, we'll keep the current schedule of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 a.m. Eastern until 2 p.m. So that's not changing anytime soon. 2025, we might be changing our schedule, but that's still up in the air. You know what? As long as you guys are here, let us know. Which would you prefer us to do? Morning shows or evening shows? Just to get a gauge. Just to get a gauge. How many of you are more morning people? How many of you are like later in the day people? Just something to kind of like, give us a guide on like, when is it more convenient for you? Or do we help you through your day? Are you working? Are you listening to us? Are you not watching us, but you're just like listening in? Does it help you get through your day? Does it make you laugh? Does it lift your spirits? Let us know. All right. I'm looking forward to doing more of these things, but you know what, 45? I really need to clean up my language. I have dropped way too many F-bombs this morning.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. I was watching these people on MSNBC, and they were talking about some of the craziest stuff about if Trump gets elected, that it would affect people's retirements because they would have their age of retirement increase before they could start collecting Social Security benefits. And I like turned it around. I was like, well, under Kamala's plan, if they're charging you 25% tax on unrealized gains, even though the argument is from people, it's like, well, that's only for the rich. It's like I point out, the assets are held by the investors who are rich. And if they're making investments with your money, they're going to be taxed on unrealized gains, which means that your money is going to be taxed, which means you'll never see your 401k materialize. So you'll work to the grave. What is this? Sipping with Sean. Have a great stream, guys. Gotta roll out. I like a good morning show. There's tons of evening shows. Sipping with Sean, thank you very much. Thank you very much, and thank you for the can. Have a good day, and God bless. Oh, that was wonderful. I love it when the Whiskey Capitalists stop by. So yes, again, if you guys haven't checked out the Whiskey Capitalists, by all means, please do go and check their schedule over there on Pilled. I've already dropped the link in there. And let me just drop it in like one more time. Just one more time, because I want to make sure you guys actually have it. Here, let me go and get it for you guys again. Because they do. They do have a good quality production, and at times, like I've said, they've surprised me with their guests. All right, so there is the Whiskey Capitalist, and let me pop this on over here, over in DLive and YouTube. Now you guys have it as well. Check them out. All right, these fish are looking healthy, 45.
I know, right?
Yes. What do you think of the lounge music?
It's awesome.
It's generative. No copyright strikes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Look at that fish. Look at that. Look at that nice healthy fin.
Yeah.
No
there's
ick.
Tom's koi right there.
Just swam on by.
Yep, it's the golden looking one.
All right, so far, it is very awesome. All right, so we had that one from Sippin' with Sean, says that there's tons of evening shows. Tyrantosaurus Rex says, agreed, the evening has a lot of streams. It's like, so we have two indications that staying in the morning is that we're good for the morning slot with this.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that we won't have evening time things. Like I said, there's going to be evenings when myself, perhaps 45 One Actual, and I are putting together the next day's news and stuff like that. And those will be like, probably subs only streams. So, like we can sit and like talk, shoot the shit, stuff like that. And maybe you guys have stories that we're missing. Maybe you guys have topics you want us to cover the following day. And that would be the perfect time to jump on in and say, hey, we've got a story we want to have covered. And then that gives us time to get together that segment piece on whatever it is that you want us to focus on. Maybe you don't want us to focus on the news. Maybe you have an idea. Maybe there's something going on that's not being talked about in the news. Maybe there's something you're noticing that needs attention that's not getting the attention it needs. Perfect time to let us know is before we start the show, the day before, so we can work it in. Hello, business. It's a business. Yes. And we are trying to deliver you a service and a high quality product. Not that crazy stuff I'm not going to talk. You guys know what I'm talking about. Not that crazy stuff. Gosh. Oh my word. What in the hell is that, Chops ITMC? What in the hell is that? Source. Conserver Chris, good morning. But that means more tax dollars will go back into our communities, Kevin. I know. Help me out. Get me that guy from yesterday doing the guided meditation so we can go and we can meditate on that. That inhale through your mouth or whatever. Okay, he's distracted by something. Let's see what Simone's talking about. Because you know it's going to be entertaining.
Look at the fact that nearly half the jobs in this country are small business jobs, and that we've seen explosive growth with new applications in just the last few years, post-pandemic, and people are ready to go. And so now we have to take it to the next place, and that includes,
now keep in mind,
child care, access, housing, all those kinds of things.
Keep in mind, Amy Klobuchar did not assist in one positive way whatsoever during the riots in Minneapolis. Not that it's necessarily part of her jurisdiction, but is she not a senator? She is a senator, is she not? Of Minnesota?
She is.
Yeah, she is. And she has close ties into the Twin Cities. What did she do instead? Oh, that's right. She supported the rioters. Interesting and weird.
Them to start up.
There's going to be a lot of discussion and debate, I think, rightly around the value, the proposition of this plan, how this plan is going to be paid for.
I'll be right back.
What the impact is ultimately going to be on small businesses with respect to, tax credits versus, capital gains increases, et cetera. But not to be outdone, you mentioned child care. Donald Trump has a plan for child care. Can we listen to Donald Trump's plan for child care for just a moment?
It's a very important issue, but I think when you talk about the kind of numbers that I'm talking about, that because look, child care is child care. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. But when you talk about those numbers compared to the kind of numbers that I'm talking about by taxing foreign nations at levels that they're not used to, but they'll get used to it very quickly. And it's not going to stop them from doing business with us, but they'll have a very substantial tax when they send product into our country. Those numbers are so much bigger than any numbers that we're talking about, including childcare, that it's going to take care. We're going to have, I look forward to having no deficits within a fairly short period of time.
So, Senator, just so everybody understands, what you heard there was 45 seconds of a 2-minute answer on child care, which was not an answer to the question on child care. In fact,
they asked for a specific plan.
The specific plan, but the plan he did offer up was to impose a 10% across the board tariff to pay for child care because, well,
a tariff on China?
Child care is child care.
Okay.
There's the plan right there, folks. Child care is child care.
Two things. We know that there's a lack of child care. There's desert, and it's urban and suburban. And to me, there's really exciting things going on working with business right now. So we could put in place more incentives. Businesses are actually starting to build or join together to build child care centers or add on to private, more likely. They're not running them themselves. We should create incentives to make it easier for people to afford because they want the workers. It's that simple. Doesn't matter how qualified you are. If you don't have a good place to bring your kids, you can't go to work. What he's proposing there with his bludgeon of a tariff, and there is a good place for tariffs.
Bludgeon!
Some tariffs, I think it's really important. But the way he's done this, as the Kamala Harris has pointed out and other economists have pointed out, it's actually going to add taxes to the American people. It's going to make it more expensive for them, which is going to make it harder for them to afford child care. And I didn't think you saw a lot of applause for this particular across-the-board tariff from the business community because they know the consequences. So I would much rather, and maybe this is more of a Republican view of the past, create incentives for these child care centers to basically expand and be created and blossom and make it easier for people to afford it than go this route that he's talking about that I think will have the opposite effect.
I just want to underscore something the senator said, which was talking about the economists who've weighed in on this question. This is from Friday. Whoever wins in November will likely inherit a slowing economy, but experts warn that Trump's policies could push the U.S. into a trade war that would raise inflation and weaken the economy. Goldman Sachs economist this week said a Harris presidency would be better for growth than a Trump 2.0 would be.
This point about pushing the economy further over the brink and raising inflation, we have seen Donald Trump's tariffs policy before. He imposed these tariffs in 2017 on China. Exactly. Recently. And it hurt farmers. Midwestern farmers got so many bailouts from the federal government because of the tariffs. And Donald Trump is like, the farmers love me. They're getting paid. But it was the opposite effect. So this is not hyperbole. We've got examples.
Yeah, you want to use tariffs, but you've got to look at each case and how you use them instead of this across-the-board bludgeon. Yeah. And that's the issue.
They're industry specific and they are related to a broader global policy, not just a domestic one. And that's something I don't think Donald Trump actually understands. And it was evident when he was asked about how he would deal with child care.
And the answer was incoherent, which that's not an opinion, that is a fact. It was an incoherent answer.
We heard it.
Senator Amy Klobuchar, such a treat to have you with us.
It was great to be on.
It's so good to have you, Senator. Great to be here with you.
Thank you.
All right, we have more ahead on the weekend, and one quick reminder about the MSNBC special coverage of Tuesday's presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and ex-President Donald Trump, hosted by ABC News. Rachel Maddow and the team are going to lead coverage and analysis starting Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on MSNBC. Then right after, we will simulcast the debate starting at 9. I hope you tune in.
What should I choose? Grand dilemma.
Play solitaire or go shopping. Why choose? Join Solitaire Grand Harvest Shopping Spree and you can do both. Download the best solitaire game you'll ever play for free and enter for your chance to win $1,000 for an amazing shopping spree. There's a new winner every day. Download Solitaire.
Okay, he was kind enough to put the fish on. Hello. Kind enough to put the fish on instead of listening to Solitaire for free, which isn't free because you pay something in the end.
Your soul.
Your soul. Solitaire. Yes. Yes. All right, catching up on chats over here. Narcissist alert. Who? Sparky, who's the narcissist? What's going on? Okay, let me see. A face even a mother could punch. I thought it said pinch at first. Oh my gosh, yes. Klobuchar was in the same camp as Debbie Stavicow. Oh. Chops, you're in Minnesota too, aren't you? Oh my gosh. Let's see. The economy would be far stronger without the fiat currency and state intrusion. Absolutely. I'm all for the tariff system. Tariff, and if they want to put a flat tax, but I don't think it would be, if it was just built into the prices, if what you see is what you get, no hidden fees or anything like that, everything's just like built right into the price, I'd be like, that's really expensive. Or, hey, that's a good deal. It's like nothing to consider. The price is what it is. There it is right there. I can afford to get this many of that and I can't afford to get this. It's like, so I better either get really creative or just manage myself better. It's like, wow, how interesting would that be to, like, you know, in my household, my thing is this, Bruce, clutter. Lots of clutter. Well, I'm not saying that he's a hoarder. I'm saying, to me, clutter is like, let's say I look at the mantle of my fireplace and there's something on it that doesn't belong there. Like, let's say an extra book for no damn reason, or a set of keys. Okay, am I a little OCD? Maybe a little OCD. But when he comes home and brings home products that we do not have space for in the larder or in storage, and then it ends up, let's say, on the countertop, in the kitchen, my work surfaces, and I'm like, why did you buy that? And it's for, they were having some sort of a sale or something like that. It's like, so you bought something that we really didn't need because it was convenient, because it's fluctuating. It's like, I'm horrified. The moment that dynamic pricing goes into effect, that's going to be a horror story in this house. Absolute horror story. Feisty, is that you? Is that really you?
It's her. She's got to be quiet.
Girl, good morning.
The little one's sleeping, but she's there.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, we'll be really quiet.
And she's on a new laptop, so she shouldn't have any connection issues.
Excellent. Oh, yeah. Chops ITMC is in cursed Michigan. Oh, with Gretchen. The true Gretch novel that just came out. Who is the co-host this morning? 45-1? No. Well, I guess technically, it's. I don't think that we're playing our roles officially right now. This is simply a No Prisoners production, is what this is. We're not doing an official podcast right now. This is, as it says in the description, it says No Prisoners Productions on September 7th, 2024. Mainstream media with Kevin and friends. And it says, oh, look, it's another day and you're waking up. I am as well. Ready to watch some news with me? Let's laugh about it. So it's just a hangout. There's no titles this morning. Just kind of chill and observing in a chill manner what is going on around us through the eyes of the media. I have a question.
I may have an answer.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to address Conservative Chris here. But Kevin, if they do that with pricing, the government loses thousands of pointless middle management. I know, right? I know. I love how you point that out. Nuclear family of four, good morning. Okay, hello. So Feisty and 45, get this shit. Do we believe that there is no such thing as a transgender child?
There's no such thing.
Okay.
Jinx.
Fabulous. We should all get some
protest.
We should all get some. Is my zipper coming down? My decency. Anyway.
The nerve.
I know.
How dare you?
I know. Judy the Lady Pug, thank you so much for the cookie. Good morning. Guys, this recent shooting, this Appalachia shooting, have you guys heard people referring to that kid as a tranny?
I heard that he's like an ally or whatever. I don't know if it's true yet or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, okay.
I do remember a meme about it, but I've also seen the picture of him, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if he is part of the trans ordeal.
But question, seriously, because we take no prisoners and we try to remain intellectually honest. Question. If we call that kid a tranny, are we not bolstering the argument from the left that there are indeed transgendered children?
No, I'm not validating his identity.
Right.
I'm saying that he's bought into the ideology, the religion. It's a religion.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So for people though that call that child a tranny, I would think that they're mischaracterizing, because when a person gives a person that title, especially a child, I'm not covering for trannies. I was accused of this within the last 24 hours, that I was running cover for trannies. I am not doing that. I am saying that I do not believe there is such a thing as a transgender child. So to call a child a tranny is very much incorrect.
Yes.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that people are letting the emotion of the situation with a massacre override critical thought and logic. And it bothers me. It bothers me a bit.
Yeah.
Because I search for truth. And I
We all
like
should.
to right. And when a person lets their emotions override their logic, it concerns me. So I like to be called out on my shit when my logic is flawed. I definitely want to be called out on it.
Right.
And I'm wondering, is my logic flawed in this scenario?
Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta reload.
I mean, no.
Okay.
No, because again, there is no such thing. I mean, it's all make believe. You know what I mean? It's actually it's very evil. It's Satanism. You know what I mean? That's where all of that comes from. And you know what? I'm gonna say it, but look at who the heads are of the trans movement. They're all Jewish. All of this stuff comes from that. You know what I mean? These people that Jesus was fighting against. You know what I mean? That talk. You know what I mean?
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit.
What did you not hear me say? I know the internet's not the greatest.
The last 7 seconds.
So all of these people, I'm just gonna say this, all of these people at the head of this movement are Jewish. They worship Moloch. They brand themselves with the star of Remphan. You know what I mean? It's all evil by design. So my concern though isn't what he wants to make pretend he is. My concern is the fact that the FBI has investigated him previously for making threats for mass shootings. And then his dad turns around a few months later and buys him this gun for Christmas. Quite frankly, his dad needs to be held accountable, and so does he. They both do. They both need to be charged with murder.
I get that if it's true. Feisty, I have a question though, because it's eating in my gut. The media was, and they lied about January 6th. What if this is a trap? What if this is a trap? Like, did we actually see the kid shoot? Do we have any actual certain or being exploited? Did this kid murder? It's like not used to seeing the faces of children in active court cases without their faces being blurred. And this kid is innocent until proven guilty.
He's being tried as an adult.
That's why. I get that. I get that. And he's still a child who is going to have a life. Yes?
He has the mentality, though. Like, he knows right from wrong in this instance. You know what I mean? And that's why they're trying him as adult. However, I do get what you're saying, because at that age, you're still going through puberty. Your testosterone's all over the place. You know what I mean? So I absolutely understand what you're saying.
Well, not just that. Other people, okay, there are people out in our audience who come from the left. The left has been working rights, our First Amendment, Second Amendment, and a slew of other rights.
You're not wrong.
Okay, I come from the left. I have the leftist playbook. It's part of me. I know that the left will use children to accomplish their goals.
Yep.
And that includes
Yes, they
murder.
will.
So
you're not
last
wrong.
night I brought this up, and I'm not going to mention where I was or anything like that, because I do not. I mean, where I was they had a wonderful debate, but I'm not going to say where I was. If any of you were there, you know, but you don't say anything. because I don't do that crosstalk shit between shows. But
Right.
I was trying to arrive to the point because people weren't understanding that this opens the door for the sexualization of children by moving the goalpost away from child protection to adult child equity, which is what we've been
You're not
seeing.
wrong.
That they're trying to equate children to adults. And the more we let this happen, the closer predators get to their end goal of using children however they want to.
Right. I see
And that
exactly where you're
bothers me. That bothers
It
me
should.
to my core.
Right. It should. We know what they're doing. They're exploiting our children. On the top of that, they're trying to take away our gun rights, which is a
Right.
huge thing for them. They don't want us to have guns because the sooner that we're disarmed, the sooner that they can swoop in and, declare, whatever they want and, take us over. Like we're the last free nation in a sense. You know what I mean? We have a constitution. We have gun rights. We have the right to bear arms, and they cannot
Right.
infringe on that. However, we know that they're going to do everything possible, including using children, manipulating
Using children, yes, to
Yep.
murder in order to
Yep.
garner a emotional response, which clouds
Exactly.
logic and critical thinking
Right.
and disarms people. And last night I was watching people, and again, I'm not going to mention who it was or where it was. I was
Right.
watching people who I actually admire
Mhm.
from my perception fall into the trap of removing their logic and
Yep.
replacing it with ego and emotion. And
Mhm.
that was it bothered me, and I'll pray for them that they can see the vision that I see, because I know why the left does this.
Mhm.
And it's corrupting
Right.
the Christian conservatives in our group. The devil is very sneaky. I used to be a devil's plaything. I know a lot about the devil.
Mhm. Right.
Oh,
See, that's why it's such a beautiful thing that though you went through everything that you've been through, Kevin, that, God has turned around and used that for good. You know what I mean? Because you know their
trying.
mentality on that side, and you're able to come to the conservative or, Christian side and be like, wait, no, this is demonic. You know what I mean? This is what's going on. This is what they think. Because you've lived through it. See, and this is the most important thing about testimony. This is why testimony is so important. You know what I mean? Because you've been through that, just like all of us have been through other things. We're able to again, like we talked about on Wednesday, reach that one from the 99. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, I asked for this, guys. I was in Minneapolis on my porch, and I was having a cigarette because I don't smoke in the house, but I went out to the porch to grab a cigarette. And I asked God, I was like, I am fearful. I want to be used as your vessel. I want to be broken and remolded. And I know what that entails. And I want you to use me. I requested it. And I think it's happening. And it doesn't
He's
come
gonna use
without
you
it.
whether you request it or not.
Well, I'm just saying though, I made a conscious choice because I know how to
Right.
damn oneself. I know how to damn yourself. I know what's unforgivable. And I have never committed that sin of rebuking God.
Right.
And I know that when you beseech God and open yourself up to the Holy Spirit, this is not something to be taken lightly. You are asking to be slain by the Spirit. I don't think I've fully been slain yet. I think I'm about to be.
You have to die to your flesh every single day.
Yep.
And that's the part right there. But with that comes knowledge. And it is not well received by the general public.
No.
It's not supposed to be.
Well, you know.
Narrow path, not a wide open river. You know?
Right. That's
truly,
like
truly.
Oh, you should jump in the Telegram and pull up the most recent post that I pinned to it.
Who? I'm not using Telegram on this machine.
451.
Oh, okay.
Taking a look. We just gotta open it. Hold on.
You rock like Sidewalk Jock.
And may I say something about Belushi?
Yes.
Belushi had a fabulous stream last night. After the show, which I called into, which I watched, you know, and like I said, the show was very good. Not going to name names or anything like that, but I will say this: the show was good. The show was good, and the show was good. The show was good, and it was nice to see people networking. I went over to Belushi's afterwards. Belushi had Muay Thai, MMM going on with to club beats and stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love his shows.
Love his Friday fight night. Belushi was fun. Oh my gosh.
This one?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Did you know the Bible literally tells you that if you're easily offended, then you lack the ability to receive glory in the kingdom of God? Throughout the scriptures, it's so clear. Jesus himself talks about it in his most famous passage. But there's one verse in the Bible where it says, it is a man's glory to overlook an offense. Why? Because when you do that, when you overlook people making fun of you and reviling you and uttering falsehood against you, you are blessed according to Jesus because you look like him, because you operate like him. We are not called to be understood by the world. We are called to be not of the world. And that is a big, big difference that starts with making yourself small, making yourself nothing, not needing to be understood by everybody. In fact, counting it joy and counting yourself blessed when you are misunderstood. These are the words of Jesus. If they made fun of him, if they misunderstood him, then it is our glory and our honor to join him in that.
You want to read the verse that goes along with it too?
It is Luke 6:22 through 23. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for like the manner did their fathers unto the prophets.
Yeah, so I love that. Like I got that yesterday. It was so good, and like that fits what's going on with me right now too. But I'm sure a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because we're not called to be of this world. We're called to be like Jesus. So we're gonna have, you know, so many people against us, and it's just gonna pick up more and more and more. You know what I mean? Until, you know, those that aren't going, you know, aren't going to be beside us. We're going to see a lot of that, you know what I mean? And it tells us in the end days that, you know, people will, you know, essentially our families will come against us. And let's be honest, our friends will come against us, all of that. Because, again, we're following Jesus, not the world.
That's right.
Well, it does come with the slings and arrows, and message received on that video, definitely.
Yes.
And
That was good,
and
huh?
on the message. It was good, yeah. It was good. I was trying to make that point last night, and there was this, like, for the most part, people received the message I was trying to get. They understood where I was going with it. There were a small group of people who called me a pedophile. I was like, because they thought I was making excuses for the kid. And that was the furthest thing from my point. But I just responded, it's like, I'll pray for you. It's like, that's all I can do. It's like, you can't see the truth I'm trying to, like, put down. And for now, you can't see it, so I'll pray. That's all I can do.
That's what
Is
we're
that
asking
haughty?
you,
Is
pray.
that haughty of me to, like, say that, though? Is that haughty to say that?
We're asked to. No, we're asked to. Like, I tell people that I pray for them. It may piss them off, but that's, you know, that's you know, demons speaking. You know what I mean? I pray for everybody. You know what I mean? Even people that actually hate me. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're asked to pray for each other, even our enemies. It clearly states that in the Bible, you know.
This is gonna be a journey. It has been a journey. Who is this? Let's see what's going on over here. One moment. 7-6 over there on D Live. Good morning. Good morning. At some point, guys, we will be going to Pilled exclusive. I don't think it's going to be anytime like too soon, but Feisty, what is it, like every 24 hours do we have to like give a certain amount of time to Pilled exclusive? Is that how this works?
It's usually an hour, like an hour into our show, but I don't know how many, like, I don't know what the hours are, but I know that every time we do a show, an hour in, we cut off everything else and go to Build exclusive.
All right. Well, I hope I'm not breaking any agreements or anything. We will be going to Pilled exclusive at some point, which means that people on D Live, YouTube, Kick, Telegram, all those places. And here, let me just put it out. Let me just like put it out so you have the information here. There. And I will even verbalize. Get your butt on over to Pilled. Pilled.net, No Prisoners Podcast. Oh, and then it says I'll be right back. Well, I'm here. And let me edit that. Let me edit that part. Because I'm here. Let's see. How do you save this? Ugh. Feisty Restream is so crazy. There we go. Get your butt on over to Pilled. Pilled.net/No Prisoners Podcast. Come on over here and make an account. It's easy. It's free. And they have stickers. And free speech. And the platform is very smooth. Are there any drawbacks to Pilled, Feisty? To be completely honest, I mean, you can't watch it on your smart TV unless you have an internet browser on your TV. But are there any drawbacks to Pilled as far as accessibility? And good morning, Don.
Not that I know of. I love Pilled.
I do too.
And it's not just because, of the owners. I mean, that's a huge plus and everything, and having Maven, but I love Pilled way more. I think it's a far superior platform. And it just keeps getting better, And it's not owned by, people that are living in Canada, for crying out loud, or anything like that. Not that I have a problem with anybody in Canada, because we have our Canadians
our
we love.
Brad Allen. Yes, we have our people in Canada who we love. Yes.
Yes. But not that I love Pilled, and like I said, it just keeps getting better and better, and and I love it because it's like they're so open to suggestions, and they listen to you, and they hang out in your chats and talk with you. They're regular people just like you and me. So it's really awesome, and everybody being here and passing around gold pills and all of that, like you're helping build this platform.
Yes.
So, and I remember back in the days when, it was the original foxhole, you know what I mean? When there wasn't that much to it, and just from then to now, it has drastically grown so much, and it's turned into such an amazing and beautifully done platform.
Absolutely. Over there in chat. Now, I don't know if I've already said good morning to you guys. Remember, it's all about like waking up and going through this. So, Ohio Kimmy and Mad Hat and Don Ritchie. Good morning. Good morning. The one drawback. Okay, so Tyrantosaurus Rect says the one drawback is the ability to easily rewind the stream to review a comment. Oh yeah, because the comments they're not in sync with the video. It's like you get the whole comment section all at once. Timestamps would be nice if they were to add timestamps to the comments. Like if the timestamps were.
There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things that they're gonna work on, because we've also talked about fixing the, what is it? We have making the fast forward rewind option better, because I know a lot of people have problems with that. But definitely, like, reach out to support and give them your suggestions, because like I said, they're open to suggestions. They want this. They made this platform for you guys. You know what I mean? Complete free speech, except for, there's like 2 rules not to break, and they're really easy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason why anybody should break them. But other than that, it's complete free speech. You just can't post completely nude things, and you can't threaten people. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
oh, okay,
Right.
that's easy. But yeah, like they want to hear from you. They ask to hear from you, because again, they're building this platform based on, what's easy for you, what works, for you.
I'm going to bring this back in on mute just to monitor what's going on with the mainstream and see what they're chatting about today.
I
Okay.
just hope it's not this shooting thing. I'm gonna say it. I get tired of that. I really do, because you know what? Shootings happen everywhere. You know what I mean? Just as horrific as that at schools that we don't hear about. So what is it that they're trying to cover over? You know what I mean? Every time I see something where they go nuts on the media like that forever, they're covering for something. We're talking about abortion as healthcare. No, it's not. It's murder.
I know.
Nowhere in there does it say anything like that in the Constitution or anything. Like, it's flat out murder. It's sacrifice to Moloch. Read the Bible.
Well, here
It's
they
in
are.
there.
They're talking about it right now.
It's disgusting.
Let's see if they're actually saying that line again.
The most extreme anti-abortion disinformation, that abortion is murder, for example. But it is a subject that a lot of people are uncomfortable.
What do you know?
I know,
Most
Feisty.
people who
I
knew enough
know.
about back alleys and coat hangers understood that abortion was necessary, but it was also an uncomfortable discussion. Not only did most people not want to talk about it, relatively few were willing to actually defend it. So the loudest voices in the room were always the ones who were shouting about abortion, lies about abortion. Only now, in this brutal post-Roe era marked by stories of women who were bleeding out in parking lots and nearly dying of infections, losing their organs because their doctors were barred from giving them life-saving abortions that were needed to manage their miscarriages, only now, against this real-life dystopian backdrop, are we as a country beginning to understand that
I love they
abortion
throw Idaho in there.
is health care. The American Medical Association.
They're not going to talk about. They're lying by omission. By the way, I just want to say, with the abortion pill combination between mifepristone and that, the woman could be sleeping. Let's say, okay. You take the cocktail of drugs, because it's not just one pill; it's a combination of pills you have to take in order to induce this miscarriage. All right, get this: the cramping happens. The embryo detaches from the uterine lining, the cervix dilates, the baby is dead. Maybe the baby is dead.
Yep,
it's possible the baby passes through the vaginal canal and is living as it plops into the toilet or on the floor or wherever the female is when the body expels the baby. Okay? Now, the woman who was once a mother now is sleeping. And what she doesn't realize is that she's hemorrhaging.
Right.
She's sleeping and losing blood in her sleep because she is not in a medical environment. She is at home. She has taken abortion medication. She has miscarried. She is not under the supervision of a trained staff, and now she is bleeding to death in her sleep. Because one of the other things that is given with this abortion is a sedative. Because after you abort, you have anxiety. And
Weird.
Often They will prescribe something like something equivalent to Valium or something. Now you're sedated and you're hemorrhaging and you don't know it and you
Yeah.
don't wake up. But we're not going to talk about that, are we?
Of course not.
When we're talking about the health of the mother, when we're talking about health care. So we're going to lie by omission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these
Who's the
people
real
don't
monster?
care.
Yeah, right?
They don't care. It's demonic. Like I said before, it's demonic. It's sacrificing, to Moloch, all of it.
Huh?
It's that evil. It's that despicable. And here's the thing is they also don't tell you every time that you do this, it's scarring your body. It's what's going to happen
Yeah, it
when
leaves injuries.
what's going to happen when you decide that you do want a baby and you can't.
Because
That's
your
the whole
uterus is
goal.
hostile.
Right. That's the goal for them. All of that abortion, the medication, even down to birth control. It's all bad for your body. They don't want you to reproduce. And guess what? Why don't you take a look at who's the head of that? The people that wear the star. What a surprise. Because those are the ones that were sacrificing to Moloch. The Bible talks about that. Come on, people. It's all right there for you. It's not just some book written by a bunch of different people. There is the word of God in there. Events that have actually happened. They have been proven.
Mm-hmm. I want to say good morning in the middle of our conversation to Captain McMuffin. Good morning. And good morning, Band Mom, Texas. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for showing up. Okay, let's see.
They don't
Oh,
even offer counseling. They don't even talk to you about what happens after you do this. You know what I mean?
And you
They
think that
don't.
that would be essential. Like,
Right.
what do we get shown, Feisty, in the news? We get shown happy women who are happy that they killed their kid.
Right.
That cannot be the norm. And
No.
I'm not saying that cannot be the norm because what am I trying to say here? Not that cannot be the norm, as in that is where society is going. It can tell me it's not the normal response of women
It's not.
to be
It's not.
joyful
It's not.
after a miscarriage
not.
or abortion. It
Because
has to be
I know.
psychologically damaging.
Right. And I know firsthand both on both experiences. It's not. You don't feel joy. You feel sorrow. You feel regret. You're in pain. And I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally as well.
See, I'll never have a
And that side can, pretend that it's not, a life, but it is. It is a human,
see, and that's something I'll
period.
never
It doesn't
experience. I'll
change
never
to a
know.
cat. It doesn't change to a dog. It's a human. It's a life.
Yeah, it's a life, and that's just it. I mean, okay, I am not making equations to pets and pregnancy. Okay, I will tell you this though. When I put my pups down, like when they're at end of life, or if they, Bunny had cancer, I tried to keep her alive for years on chemotherapy and stuff like that. By the way, don't ever do that to a dog. It's probably one of the worst things you can do to a dog. I didn't know. I was trying to save my dog's life.
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like to lose a beloved pet. I will never have life growing inside of me. I can't imagine what it's like to lose a life which was in me. Even if I didn't want it. Even for pets I didn't particularly want. I never abused them. I took care of them. But you know when you have that pet which is inconvenient and it's like, and the day that it finally reaches its end of life is like a relief. I can't imagine I would have that because it's not a pet. That was something. If I was a woman, I'm trying to imagine what that would be like. I have the capacity to create life. I have the capacity to nurture. What does that feel like to say no to that and to destroy a life? I don't know, but I can imagine it is not a joyful experience.
No,
it can't be it can't be a joyful. I don't believe a person can be human and believe that to be a joyful experience.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not, and that's why I say I almost feel that, the majority of these people that are on there saying that they have are either filled with demons to the point that they just, they find joy in it, or they've really never done it. Because speaking from personal experience, I cried. I had regret, I had remorse. There were so many emotions, and none of them included any kind of euphoria. There was no joy, and not a day passes that I don't think about any of my children for that
See,
matter, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's it's demonic, you know what I mean? And for people to come out and say, "Oh yeah, I'm so happy I had." No, you're not. No, you're not. You must be filled with demons if you say that, or again, you've never done it.
I
Because
remember
that's not what
in the
you do.
Army, I have secondhand knowledge of this personally. When I was in the Army at Fort Hood, Texas, I knew maybe nine women who who I went with to Austin, Texas, to hold their hand through their abortion. Not in the actual staging area, but
Mhm.
I was there for them.
Right.
And every once in a while, it didn't dawn on me till later that sometimes the person who got the woman pregnant was also there, but I was thinking, oh, this is just like her friend. I didn't
Mhm.
realize that some men went with the
Or
person.
yeah.
Right. And I thought, afterthought, because I was younger then. It was like I was like 18, and like, after serving in a war, I was dealing with my own shit. I didn't have time to like process other people's shit. But it was
Right.
like later as I grew up, I was like, oh, the majority of the women who went to go have the abortions,
Mhm.
the men who got them pregnant weren't with them.
Mhm.
So they chose me, their closeted gay, don't ask, don't tell friend, to like,
Mhm.
join them as they went through this. And a small portion, I'd say about maybe 4 of
Mhm.
them, the night before the abortion procedure,
Mhm.
were very elated. I remember Tammy Grabsky. She was singing Black Velvet, that
Mhm.
that
Yes.
song, and this like, and she was like doing this like slow dance in the barracks, and it's like black velvet and that lady boy smile, and then it got to that part of the lyrics was like, "Mama's dancing with her baby on her shoulder," and she like turned and looked at me and she goes, "I'll literally be able to do that tomorrow."
Oh dear Lord. That's demonic
Then,
influence.
then the day happened, and then Tammy cried and
Mhm.
cried and cried and cried
Yep.
and cried, and I got angry.
Yeah.
I got so angry, and I rebuked her. I was like, I didn't know how to process it.
Right.
I understood that my friend was going through an emotional turmoil,
Mhm.
and I had witnessed her the night before making light of it. And
Mhm.
now I'm looking at her the following day, and she is in severe regret and pain.
Yep.
And I don't know how to process that either.
Right.
It's like it affects more than the mother. It affects their social networks. I was supposed to be there for her support after the fact, as I had done this with other women. And I could have, had I known now, had I known then what I know now, maybe I could have helped them find other ways. Because I
Right.
know that there are women in the military who have babies and who raise families as
Mhm.
soldiers. It's like, you do not have to have an abortion. It does
No.
not end your military career.
Right.
And I have regrets over being there for these women. And at the same time, I can attest that not a single one of them came out of this joyful. Not a single one.
See, and this is going back to my point. It's testimony. You've lived through and seen this stuff, so you can again, from firsthand seeing, what it's done. You know what I mean? You can attest to what these women have in a sense went through. Their emotional response before and after. I know that you have regret and stuff, and you know what? That's a normal response to somebody that essentially is with God. You know what I mean? We're supposed to have
Well,
that. It's
at
a
the time, I
I,
don't
I
think I
know
was necessarily
Wow.
with God at the time, but
No,
yeah, I hear
but
what you're saying.
but again,
you.
I
exactly.
know.
He was with
I know.
you.
Thank God for that.
And it goes into step, like I always say, like everything that we go through, it's sharpening us, it's molding us to who he wants us to be. All of these things that we live through, it's molding us so that we can proclaim who he is, and talk about those moral things, you know what I mean, things that are wrong, and again, be that testimony, that one, to pull that one from the 99, you know what I mean? And that one
Mm-hmm.
from the 99 adds up, because there's how many of us in the world? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Billions.
we all have that ability to touch people throughout our lives. You know what I mean? And that's why it's so important that we talk about situations. I love that we're talking about this. It's a hard topic, and we shouldn't shy away from it. You know what I mean? We need to discuss this because, again, abortion was such a taboo subject. You know what I mean? And so even women that had gone through it and had that regret, they were still shunned
Mm-hmm.
regardless. You know what I mean? And now look at where we're at. We're like, oh, it's a cool thing. Let's go do it, because then I'll have a life. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now we get to sit and talk about this. And I really truly feel that the more that we talk about this, even with women that have again went through it and have regret and live with that scar,
Mm-hmm.
it's that testimony to those women that haven't done it yet, or to the women that have done it and feel like, they're the most horrible person in the world, and that they will never receive forgiveness. And that's a lie. That's a lie.
Right.
We all have the right to forgiveness. We lay it at the cross just as he's asked us. And guess what? The women that have went through an abortion, guess who was there with them? God. God was with them through it all. So he knows. He knows that pain. He lived it. He felt it on the cross.
Yeah.
So run to him, run to the cross, because he's waiting. He's waiting. And he's a loving and he's a forgiving God, and to be made to feel like you're nothing because you've done something wrong is you shouldn't feel like that. So I'm
Let's
just
take a
glad that we're
pause.
talking about this stuff.
Oh, we are. We're going to continue. Let's take a pause for just a moment. Boys Blanc, thank you very, very much for the cookie, and good morning. And also good morning to America Inc. Music. The God is there. That's true. The media is not talking about that aspect. The media is not talking about the negative. It's and a lot of, we have people, we have youth who don't even understand the machinery of their own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
My Bruce, for instance, I wish he could come in here and he could tell you himself. But if I remember what he said correctly, is that it's not a baby till it's born.
That's wrong.
And I know that. I don't know why he believes that. I don't know why he believes that, because I'm like, are you saying, what is it? It's like, we've had this conversation.
Is it a horse?
I don't go to.
Is it a horse before it comes out of the birth
That
canal?
it's
Is it a
it's
unicorn?
not it's not
Is it
it's
an
not
alligator?
that it's not that it's not that it's not human. It's that it's not considered a human being. I need to dig deeper, but I have to.
Really?
But it is.
I have to. Well, listen.
So,
I would prefer that
I'm
he's
gonna
here.
destroy his argument.
Okay, well, number one, I may not be representing his mindset because I do not know the inner workings of his mind.
Right.
I want to make that very, very
Only
clear.
God does. Right.
Right? And number two, he's not here because if he was here and if he was willing, he could present his case.
I would love for him to.
I would too.
I would.
I would too. You know what?
I
I'm
love
going to go
Bruce.
ask him. I'm going to go ask him.
Regardless of his views, I love Bruce. You know?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's a great guy. And like all of us, I mean, this is what might be considered a spiritual flaw.
Stage of
Who
maturation.
doesn't?
That's the only thing you need to say.
Well,
That
let me go and
chicken
ask
egg,
him if he'd be
it
willing,
is.
and I'll be right back.
That's a fertilized chicken egg. If you give it the correct amount of sustenance and temperature and time, it will mature into a chicken. Same thing with a human being. The moment it is conceived, it is a human being at a stage of maturation. Whether you're a 1 second old or a 90-year-old human, you have the right to life. Once you come out of the birth canal, doctors are supposed to do everything that they can to keep you alive in a medical emergency. Why wouldn't you extend that same protection to an individual who is at a different stage of maturation? I'm just saying. That blows that entire argument out of the freaking water, man. And I have that Cliff Nettle clip somewhere.
It's a good,
on
yeah, it's a
YouTube.
good
I will
one.
bring that one up.
I love that one. So I'm not sure. Speak Kindly is saying that one of you guys are really low. So I don't know. I'm thinking
probably
it might
Kevin.
be. I was gonna say it might be you.
Is it me?
You almost sound a little lower, yeah. I mean, I hear you just fine because obviously I have headphones on, but it might be you.
We'll have to get that laptop back here when you come back, and we'll get the other Focusrite thing that we have plugged in. That way you can plug in that HyperX Quadcast mic. You can still use the headphones, but use the Quadcast mic. And
Right.
I mean, you sound great. You already sound a bajillion times better than you did when you were using the phone.
Well, right. That's because the microphone's right by my mouth.
I love it too, by the way.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, they're talking about climate crisis again, are they? My goodness. These people just need to stop. It's all it is scare tactic after scare tactic after scare
Yeah, they
tactic.
just literally roll right into the next thing.
It's the
Kill
same.
your
but it's-
baby. Climate change.
But it's the same. They're regurgitating the same garbage over and over, especially every time we get by election time. Like it's the same stuff every time. And people, I can't believe that there are still people that don't grasp that. You know what I mean? Like it's right there. They repeat history over and over, just like the Bible talks to us about, the repetition of history.
Yep.
Thank God, though, that you're seeing more and more people awake to the fact that they're repeating stuff over and over and over. However, you know there are also Christians that buy into that garbage as well, which is mind blowing. And like I always say, it starts to make sense of the 144,000. You know what I mean? It really does.
Yep. Speaking of climate change,
Look at
that. Look at that cucumber. That leaf is almost the size of my hand.
I know. Big hand.
It's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. God is amazing.
Here's the
fish
garden bean.
poop is amazing.
Fish poop water is pretty amazing. This is one of the baby ones. This is one of the ones we put in. Look at the baby leaves still on it.
I know. It's beautiful. Look at him go. It's so awesome. Let's go.
I'm telling you.
I
Look at this,
know.
Kevin.
Look at that.
Hey,
That's a miracle.
Did you get a picture of the one that like the chickens got and you're like, I think that's gonna die, and it's like, nope, just kidding, here I am.
Was that a
It was a bean.
cucumber or was
Nope,
it a
bean.
bean?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of it. It's still pretty small, but it's got.
Yeah, but
leaves on it.
it's thriving though, which is amazing considering
I mean, yeah, the thing that I thought was really dead. How about this? Let's get this plum up here. I thought this tree was dead.
Look at that. And it's
And
got
we
blossoms too.
Yeah, we took the solids out of the solids filter.
Yes.
Yes. And removing the pilled.
No. Remove the blossoms at this point. Do not have this thing spending energy making fruit. I can see the size of your hand to the size of this
I see
plum.
what you're saying. Yes.
Remove the blossoms so it makes energy to create the tree, not fruit. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
very
I'll do
very
that.
wise.
Yep. And it didn't have any buds. All the leaves that were on it were like, oh, we want to die. They were all red and
crinkled and
looking,
eaten and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And we put the fish solids on this. Probably about, I don't know, 10 or 15 gallons worth of fish solids. And we mixed with water, obviously. And came right back.
Yeah, it was crazy because
Excellent.
it's like when we were still there, it just had the buds, and to see where it is in just this short amount of time is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's got full-on twigs coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like
well,
those twigs didn't exist.
Are those blossoms still on it right now? Go pinch them off if they are.
Okay, I will.
Please. Okay. And good morning, Giuseppe.
Yes, Giuseppe. Oh my goodness. Good morning. I haven't seen you in forever. I hope everything's going well. And little Miss is doing amazing.
And speak kindly. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Let's see, where was it going? Oh, Mad Hat said that the local news is pushing the bird flu narrative. Testing positive in dairy cows now. They're going to keep doing that, because what they're trying to do, let's be honest, what they're trying to do is normalize that so that when they start killing off, the things that we eat, it's going to be like, oh, well, that's why, because of this. When in reality, we all know that it's baloney. You know what I mean? That they're tainting our food supply all by design. Just like when you see the fires and stuff like that, like the fires in Idaho, that was all conveniently grazing land. How weird is that?
Mm-hmm.
It's all scare tactics. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be surprised if honestly, and I've said this for a long time now. I wouldn't be surprised if the closer we get to election, let's say October-ish, if they try and push another lockdown.
Man,
because
if they
remember,
do, I'm resisting again like I did last time. I'm resisting.
And we should. But
colors on that though.
It's beautiful.
So vibrant.
Oh yeah, it is beautiful. Put it in your hair. Oh, wait, you shaved your head.
Now, okay, before that thing dries out, you know what you can do? You can now root that if you want to. You could make a root out of that and make another tree if you don't let it dry up.
Put it right in the aquaponics system.
Put it right in the aquaponics system and you might get a tree out of that. Just stop pinching the bottom. Make a fresh cut, like a diagonal cut, and put it into the solution. But it has to be within a minute, otherwise it's going to seal itself.
I was going to say probably put it in one of the little baskets that have the I can't remember. It's kind of like a spongy material in there. That would have been perfect in there.
Yes.
Yes. I'm just still blown away at how good that looks, though. Kevin, I'm serious. That thing looked like it was going to die, and I'd walked over and lightly bent one of the branches. I'm like, oh no, this is still alive. I was like, it needs some kind of just insane nutrients on it. And of course, they said they poured the fish poo water. That's what I'm going to call it. Fish poo water on it, and I was blown away. In just a few days, it started having buds all over the place. And now it's where it is.
Oh, so it did have buds all over. How tall is it? Because I know that his hand is not at ground level.
It's got to be maybe 6 foot, a little over 6 foot.
Oh, dude, I thought that this was only a 1 foot tall plant.
No.
I just had a pit. Well, you know what? Is it a new tree that they just planted?
Yeah. Yeah, they
Oh
just
well, then
planted.
okay. Well, then they
Yeah,
don't
they
want it
planted
fruiting the
them.
first year.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, right, because
Okay.
they're
Right.
just babies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't
Yeah.
want it fruiting the first season. They want it. They want the root system to establish, and they want it
Mhm.
using energy to establish itself, not producing fruit. It's
Yeah.
too. It's too. It's still in shock. It shouldn't be
Right.
producing fruit on the first season.
Right. Well, it
Um.
probably got all that good nutrients that it's like, hello.
Absolutely. Absolutely. May I say, guys over there on the other platforms, I have, as you see, I have moving to Pilled exclusive soon. Get your butt on over to Pilled, and I've included the link pilled.net/no prisoners podcast. We will be ending the other platforms in about 60 seconds. So we're not going to commercial or anything like that. It's a hangout under No Prisoners Productions. It doesn't follow the same kind of method that we used during the No Prisoners podcast. Just know that eventually the stream will end and will be on Pilled exclusive. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope you can join us on Pilled. And if we can't, God bless. And we'll see you maybe tomorrow morning. Don't forget to hit your notifications so you know when we're on. All right. Love you guys on the other platforms. And again, it'll just cut at some point soon. So there you go. Yes.
Well, Jenna Seppi, aside from being dysfunctional and not being able to sleep, which I'm so sorry, but I know that I can speak for all of us when we are so thrilled to see you here. We've missed you so much, and
Yes.
I'm so glad to hear that the babies are doing great. That's awesome. And Kevin, Jared said that he just told his wife what you said about pulling the buds. She agreed and was pleased with your insight.
Why, thank you. And I was trying to red pill his comment, and it won't let me red pill the comment for some reason. So America Inc. Music. Oh, there it goes. Finally, it red pilled. Maven.
Let's see. Oh, Chops, ITMC. I'm going to tell you what. Mint
What's
is once you get that in the ground, it will do whatever. It will spread. It's almost like a weed. It goes crazy. I
Yeah, we're
remember.
putting ours separate.
Yeah, I planted mint out by the garage, and it's spread across the garage. And this was just like one strand or whatever of mint, you know what I mean, that I put in, and now it's everywhere, and of course it's growing out into the yard and stuff, and I'm like, hey, whatever works.
So I do have some praise report for one of our awesome listeners, by the way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was thanking Just a Salty Girl for